we go. Alright, hey guys, Zomb Phox here, and today it is, of course, time for another game live stream. Today is going to be another Panthers game and another Showboats game. Today's the Showboats versus Panthers, a rematch of a Week 1 matchup, which did see the Panthers pull off the W in Memphis. Of course, that game ended on the pick 6. And for those of you who don't know, even though initially it said E.J. Perry was starting, Larson came out and reported that it's actually going to be T-Will starting, though he is expecting both of them to play in this game. So, just take that as an FYI that we're going to see two quarterbacks play. My prediction for this game was 24-17 Panthers winning. I actually thought it was going to be a higher scoring game. Though I did think Memphis was going to keep it close. They've kind of done that all season, so I kind of have that feeling that they're going to continue that this time, though, you know. Maybe they won't. Who knows? I know Destroying is injured right now, and so that happened. Again, there's been a decent amount of things that's happened. Sup, MB, Indie Rock, and G-Man. So, of course, this week, initially this was supposed to be like a kind of break week for me instead of doing the weekly video on like Wednesday or Thursday, because I was not only on Spring into Football, but I was on XFL Jim's channel. If you didn't see that video, you can check that out after the stream, put it on the community post. But then, of course, the coaches happened, so I had to make a video then. And then this morning, the CBA got done. And I was doing something today, but I didn't have to do anything until like about 10:30, so I was able to just make the video before, because I happened to be up early. Man, dude, I was going to take the week off, and I actually had to make 2 videos this week that I wasn't planning on. So, add those 2 videos, add on to this podcast I was on, and the video I was on, and 2 live streams. This is back-to-back weeks of a ton of content being produced. So, it's a lot, but, hey, we're pushing through. Hey, what up, T-Dog? Just talking about the fact that I was originally going to take a break this week from, like, my weekly video that comes out on Wednesday or Thursday, but then ended up having to make one anyway because of the 2 head coaches, you know, with Wade taking the leave of absence, Ken was not stepping down. They had to make another video this morning about the CBA. So today was a double upload, plus a live stream, and a community post, because of course that's when the video with XL Jim posted, so yeah. Yeah, that break, man, really great. I loved how it was like for a couple hours on Wednesday, and then like, you know, the Wiz and Hunt news dropped. I'm like, okay, I'll just put a community post. You've already had this happen. Then the Wade Phillips news dropped, and I was like, I had to make it. Just like last week. Last week was the same thing, right? I think AJ Smith was first, then Blake Williams, or then Greg Williams, or it was one or the other. It was like, if it's just one thing, it doesn't justify a video. Though other YouTubers might, you know, make 2 10-minute videos on them, which I'm not going to name names. If you know, you know. But it was like, man, I was planning on taking a little break, but hey, you know, F it, we ball. So, a lot of content being posted this week. Not all of it on my channel, but a lot of stuff out there, so it was a lot. But it is what it is, you know. We keep that grind going. So, yeah. I think San Antonio pulls off the upset. I think that's the upset we get this week, honestly. I think that San Antonio, what we saw last week, we're going to see kind of more of that this week as well. DC lost Ty Scott. That is a massive loss for them. That is their best offensive player. No disrespect to Chris Rowland, but their best offensive player is Ty Scott. So you lose Ty Scott, and your offense already wasn't good, but now you lost your best offensive player. San Antonio's defense still didn't look great, but it was the best they've looked all season. So if they continue that trend of improving even without Wade Phillips, DC might be in trouble. Might be. I did see that. I just saw that on Twitter, that Destroying is out. They need to bring somebody in. I would hope they bring in somebody new to the Brahmas, but that we've seen before, like Luis Aguilar. The fact is that, like, they didn't really have a good kicker last year, but we'll see. Yeah. Yeah, he is on the injury report. I do not remember exactly what it was, but I can pull it up. It was a groin injury. He did not participate for all 3 practices, and game status is out. DC, I mean, Abram Smith was a full go, but he was dealing with an ankle thing. And then a couple other guys are there, but they're going to be without DeAndre Baker, so that's a big loss for DC as well in that game. So you're losing one of your best cornerbacks. So when you kind of combine everything, you kind of get that sense of why I think DC gets, they get kind of upset. Because I know it's not the most insane, because I've seen a few other people pick San Antonio in this game. Because just look like San Antonio has a chance to pull off that upset. Really, like I said, I think there's going to be one real upset. Either Houston, Memphis, or San Antonio. Those are upsets. I think one of them happens. I'm going to go with San Antonio pulling it off. I think they're the ones that end up pulling this off. What's up, Adam? Again, this weekend, live streaming tomorrow's game between the Renegades and Battlehawks. Again, that was not voted on by the community heroes. I was not able to... If I'm not fully able to, put all my attention into a game, I'm not going to live stream it. And when you add in everything this weekend with playoff hockey starting, playoff basketball going on, which that one I really could care less about, WrestleMania, and the RBC Heritage, and the UFL, that night time slot is going to be me watching a lot of things all at once. So, hell, doing the, stream tomorrow, I'm going to wait to watch Stand and Deliver till after Mania tomorrow. So, so tomorrow's the only game I could really stream. And then, of course, next week, might have our first Tank Bowl. We'll see if San Antonio or Houston pulls off the W here, but we might have our first Tank Bowl next week between those two teams, which that'll be fun. But as for this game, again, a lot of people are expecting a defensive battle. I think this is going to be a slightly higher scoring. I don't think both teams drop 20, but I do think we see 40 points scored in this game. I have that feeling that the Panthers' offense is going to continue to do, better than they've done the previous few weeks. And Memphis, they're going to be Memphis. They're going to give you, 2 really good drives and then score one other one, and that's about it. Perkins, he looked a lot better last week than he has the rest of the season in regards to him actually running the football. That's my biggest issue with Perkins this whole season, was that he was just not running. He won Offensive Player of the Week. I think he continues to run the ball more and more effectively, and I think that's what ends up being the reason why the Panthers win this game today. I don't think the Panthers are necessarily an incredible team compared to, honestly, there's not a single team I actually look at this year and say, man, that's a great team. Even DC, despite being 3-0, it's a very, very weak 3-0. Oh my god, dude, I hope we don't see, dude, it'd be cool to see Lombardi play, but, bro, not now. Dude, I hope he doesn't come in. That would be so bad. But you know what? I'll say this. If he gets one drive, I'm okay with that, for the sole reason of him not having legit pro experience. For that reason, I'm okay with one drive. 3 and out, touchdown, 1 drive. That's what I would say my limit is to see Rocky play. 1 drive, I'm okay with that. 2 drives, it's too many. It's 1 too many. Dude, Perkins not allowed to start the whole game. We saw it last year with Lurkey. He had to split time with him. Yeah, I hope we see Perkins play a lot today, but who knows for sure. Again, the game is starting. Again, we still got the feud on right now. In terms of things, do you think my B-Hawks start Doug in this game? Oh, they're going to start Manny for sure. I believe they're going to do a one-half kind of deal. If he plays the first half poorly, the second half we're going to see Max Duggan come out. That's how I kind of believe it. You can't bench Manny for one bad game, no matter how bad it was, because it was bad. You can't justify benching him for one game, but if he has a game and a half consecutively that's bad, you can bench him. That's how I view it. If he has a bad half, he's getting benched for Duggan, and then Duggan's going to start next week. Now, as for the happenings around the sports world right now, the Heat are playing the Hawks, and then the Grizzlies play the Mavs later. NBA, borderline don't care. NHL still hasn't started. The PGA Tour, of course, we're in one of the signature events. Justin Thomas is leading. First time he's done that in a very long time through 36. Scotty's up there, but still not, winning. I understand it's kind of by divisible events, but I've been on record saying that if Rory won the Masters, he should be the #1 world golfer. Still isn't because of how the whole point system is, how kind of whack it is based on your events played. He kind of got screwed over. McIlroy, he has 3 wins, I believe, this season because he won 1 regular PGA event, then he won the Players' Championship and the Masters. He's won the 2 biggest events of the season so far, and then he won another event in general. Whereas Scotty has just kind of existed in, that top era, but, not actually winning anything. Just saying. I don't know why I watch this team anymore. I just won't say anything. Hope humor make predictions. Oh, that reminds me. I got to put this up there on who wins today. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Who wins? Showboats or the Panthers? Again, this is the second game this season between them. Of course, the first one, the Showboats did lose. They threw a pick six at the very end of the game, which is an awful way to lose, but we'll see how this week goes. Again, we still have not had a truly great Friday Night Football game this season, which sucks, but it's true. So hopefully we actually get one tonight, because the best we've had is still probably the Panthers game in week 2, which even that one wasn't a great game against Birmingham, but it was, an okay game. So yeah, win or lose, we get voted okay. Yeah, I mean, think about it this way. If you lose, nobody's going to be upset about it. Like, they're not going to be like, oh, how'd you lose that? Whereas if you win, it's a great win. Right? It's like what Houston was. Houston winning was this massive shock, but them losing, it's like, oh, it's Houston. They lost. Like, big deal. So at least it's that. Showboats are getting the upset. Mold 10 is on the hopium as well. Gotta love it. Hey, we'll see. It should be a good one. I hope this is a good game. Again, I know some people are really talking about the Ken Wisenhunt departure is going to really hurt this team. They've already played a game without him, right? Similarly to the Brahmas, not exactly, but kind of similarly, so yeah. Yeah, dude, Friday Night Football, man, that tier list is going to look pretty weak if I end up doing it for sure. Yeah, I mean, the run game for the Panthers really hasn't been good. We had that great run by Sheridan last week, but overall the run game hasn't been great. That's why I wanted Perkins to run, because when he runs the ball, it adds another dimension to the team. Because when you have a read option play and you're able to really utilize it effectively, it just is such an unbelievable advantage. Because now you're instilling fear that the quarterback could run the ball. So now you're putting at least one guy always focusing on him. So now your running back isn't going against 11 guys, it's going against 10 guys. And that's saying that only one guy's on the quarterback. Usually it's more than that. Hence why the ground game is, or the Perkins running the football is so important. Now, Perkins hurdling like every other play, that is a problem. That's the kind of reason why they've been not running him, because he will try to hurdle somebody who's standing, like fully standing, with his arms up. He'll be like, yeah, I can hurdle that guy. And it's like, you're athletic. You ain't that athletic. The one issue with Memphis is that they're not a good team at takeaways. I don't know if they are the weakest. I'm pulling up the stats. If I remember correctly from the Power Rankings video, they have the least amount of takeaways in the entire season so far, and that's their biggest Achilles heel, is that they can't get extra drives. Yeah, looking at takeaways, they have 0 on the season. They legit have not gotten a single interception or fumble recovery, while having also 8 turnovers on offense, which is the most in the entire league. So, that's pretty bad right there. But he is not Cam Newton. So that's the biggest issue with Memphis. The turnover differential, like I've always said before, yardage, great stat. The 2 biggest stats you could argue for any team's success: third down percentage, turnover differential. If your team is great at both those stats, odds are, not guaranteed because of defense obviously sometimes, but odds are you're a great team. Because if you're able to convert third downs, you're keeping your team on the field, helps get your defense rest, makes their defense worse. Good turnover differential, you're getting extra drives. Again, if you have -8 turnover differential at this point in the season, that means every game you're averaging almost 3 less drives compared to the opposing team. Because that's how you have to view a turnover, is you're losing a drive and giving the opposing team one. And that's the biggest thing that the Showboats have not been able to actually deal with. So we'll see if they end up stepping up again. Despite the turnovers, their defense has been solid. Again, we have a poll up for who wins tonight. So far, I got a decent amount of people saying the Showboats will pull off the upset. Again, we got 3 games on upset watch. We'll see. That is the big deal about EJ Perry not starting, but he will play. Again, I would assume if T. Will's playing really hot, they're going to keep him in. But remember, T. Will is starting this game, though it is reported that EJ Perry is probably going to get a legitimate amount of snaps in this game. Again, we saw in week 1 with Jim Turner how he handled it. T. Will or EJ would have a great drive, and then instead of bringing them back out, he would put up the other guy at quarterback. So we might see that again. Again, Danny Etling is out. He is, of course, on IR, so we shouldn't have to deal with, the Perkins getting benched every 2 seconds. But yeah, I have to see it to believe it. Memphis will not win this game. Sup, Jordan Love Glazer. W name, bro. The Toyota-a-thon merchant, as some people would say. Again, in case you did not see the video this morning, the UFL and the UFPA have agreed on a CBA. It is not fully finalized yet. It's got to get like that final approval, but they actually have agreed upon a CBA. The players are getting the biggest raise that we have seen in spring football since the 2022 to 2023 season in the USFL. They're getting extended coverage by 3 months. They're going to say a year, as I said before, with how Cobra is. It's a 3-month extension. So instead of 4 months of coverage, it's now 7 months, and the players can, spend money on the next 5. So, couple big things from that CBA, an extra player and all that. So, yeah. I'm the reason they get an emoji for, they got an emoji, and the Roughnecks have one. So, we got 6 teams with emojis. I think we need, 3 more members, and then we can get a 7th emoji. Then it's, a ton. I don't know why YouTube does it, it's exponential to get emojis. It goes from you need 1 member, here's an extra one. 2, here's another one. Then you need 40. So, yeah. But hopefully we can get that by, the end of the season. That would be cool to get a 7th team emoji. But as for the game, of course, we are starting this off. Again, there is no Danny Etling. He is out in this game. The starting quarterbacks will be Bryce Perkins and Troy Williams, though E.J. Perry is expected to get some playing time in this game, much to some people's malign. Ken Wisenhunt is officially stepped down as the head coach of the Showboats, so now the official interim for the season is Jim Turner. They did hire the former offensive coordinator of the 2022 Breakers, so we'll see how this offense works this game. Y4J, as a Showboats fan, this is our season tonight and possibly the future of the organization on the line. Sadly true. I know a lot of people are talking about, next 2026, there's no way they're going to move teams. This game matters a lot for Memphis. If Memphis pulls off this W, this could really help rebound their season. Get them some wins, get them some more butts in the seats in Memphis if they pull this one off. So we'll see. Prediction for Bryce Perkins stat, 20 for 26, 3 TDs. I mean, he's had stats like that last season. I mean, that's what he did a lot last season in the 2 games he played. And, he didn't even play them fully, but he had stats similar to that. I don't know if he's going to do that good either. I think that the biggest thing is that even though this Showboats team doesn't get turnovers, they still are a very solid defense. Again, when you consider how few sacks and turnovers they have, the fact that they're not dead last in yards allowed and points allowed is a testament to how good the defense is. Which is kind of weird. It's like a backhanded compliment. But it's true. Again, as for the week's games, this week we have DC versus San Antonio on Sunday. I picked San Antonio to pull off the upset in that game. Tomorrow we have the Battlehawks versus Renegades, which I will also be doing a UFL live stream for. And then, of course, we have the other game between the Stallions and Roughnecks, which is tomorrow, which I could see a Houston upset, but pick the Stallions, yeah. UFL needs to hear about these team emojis. When you get enough members, they need Bob Stevens, Shannon Harris to box. Whoever wins gets the next team emoji. Bruh. Yeah, it is pretty wild that those are the 2 teams I don't have an emoji for. He had the Renegades and the Defenders, but hey. The Brahmas, they got theirs. The Rock and all that. And then, of course, the Roughnecks got theirs thanks to the community vote. I believe that's when we voted on, but yeah. Bryce Perkins versus the Showboats, man. Hopefully this game is good. Friday Night Football games have not been great this season. Hopefully this trend goes away in this game. We'll see, though. This should be a fun one, hopefully. Again, let's see what's happening on the Twitter world. I know there's been a bunch of random stuff coming out the last couple of days. Now, the UFL players union came to agreement, blah, blah, blah. Social media accounts at corporate. Okay, playful banner again. Yeah, true. I still can't believe the Kings lost to the Mavericks. I may be a Mavericks fan, but man, I was fully expecting the Mavericks to get absolutely crushed. I cannot believe they pulled that one off. That was legitimately hilarious. I couldn't believe that. Dude, the NBA, I really don't watch it, but, I still follow it. I'm already expecting Shea to get the undeserved MVP award, and that's no disrespect to Shea. It's just we all know damn well that Jokic is the MVP. People bring up the team record and all that, and it's dude, number 1, Shea would sit games, and the Thunder would still dump on these teams by, 30. So, in terms of value, is that really valuable? And 2, what Jokic did this season for a center is just, absurd. Whereas what Shea did is, we've seen the kind of season Shea's had multiple times. It's not like he dropped 35 points a game or anything, right? And even then, that's still incredible, but that's not, otherworldly. He didn't even drop that. So, yeah. I think Jokic is going to get screwed. This is all voter fatigue. It's very true. It's like I've said before. Jokic should be a 3-time MVP winner, but it shouldn't be what he has. It should be 3 straight. Embiid should have never won it, but Giannis should have won it that first year that Jokic did win it. So now Jokic should be a 4 straight MVP winner instead of he's won 3, not going to win it this year, but he never won it 3 in a row. You know what I mean? The NBA and voter fatigue, it's aggravating. Like, I get it, but, like, bro, sometimes just give it to the guy that deserves MVP. Like, hockey, it's a different story. I mean, Nathan McKinnon is, like, the 3rd favorite to win it. He ain't going to win it, but he's, like, 3rd. Like, bro should not be 3rd in the Hart Trophy race. I'm sorry. Like, he should be a distant 3rd, if anything. He should be, like, plus 20,000. I mean, that race is Hellebuyck and Draisaitl, and even then, it should be Hellebuyck by a pretty wide margin. But we'll see if Connor gets screwed. We'll see. Getting an ad for a new season of Kitchen Nightmares. Oh, okay. Oh, Secret Service. What the? Cop Josh Allen. I was kind of waiting for that right there. There's somebody mentioning Josh Allen when it came to MVP. It's a very controversial MVP win. I've stood by that Saquon or Burrow deserved it more than Allen or Lamar. And I understand Burrow because he didn't make the playoffs. And I know people say, oh, it's a team game. I get it with playoffs. But, like, MVP-wise, we kind of saw that Saquon was the most valuable player to that Eagles team. And that Bengals team was literally an offense and 1 defender. So, yeah. Score prediction, 27-17 Panthers over the Showboats. Not a bad prediction. Again, Michigan, my biggest complaint isn't even the quarterback decisions they do. My biggest complaint is the fact they just keep going for 1. Again, these stats showed last season that going for 2 is the play to go. Because losing 3 yards in that kind of area really isn't too big a deal. Because usually if you're getting 2 yards on a run, you're probably getting 5. So yeah. Saquon got them over the hump. That's what an MVP would do. Agreed. Like, Allen basically got MVP because of the narrative of the receivers. And it's true. His receiving core did get worse than what we thought it was the year prior. That is true. That is a fact. I'm not going to deny that. With that being said, did it really change the team much? No, they just kind of stayed the same. Yeah. That's kind of how I view it. It's kind of weird. Week 1 at Memphis, 16-19, 163, 1 TD and a rush touchdown. Great game right there in Week 1 by Bryce Perkins. We'll see if he can do that again this time. Again, this is the 3rd consecutive home game for the Panthers. And the UFL loves doing that, putting like 3 straight home games for a team. So, this is the 3rd straight home game for the Panthers. So if they can win this one, they'll be 2-1 at home. So, yeah. Still lost to the Chiefs in January. True, bro. The Bills. The Bills losing to the Chiefs and the Kings losing to the Oilers. Hey, that's a great yearly tradition. And the Ravens getting bounced early in the playoffs. Also a classic. Commanders going all the way next fall. I wouldn't be shocked. Jaden Daniels, if he can do what he did this past season, they're going to be a good team. With the additions they've gotten in the offseason so far, they can be a good team. Jaden Daniels is a great quarterback. So, the Panthers have deferred, so the Showboats will be getting the ball first. The kickoff is up. It is going to be recovered at about the 10-yard line, up to the 20, up to the 25, and he gets tackled shy of the 30, going to be about the 28-yard line for the Showboats opening drive. Again, Troy Williams is coming out as the starting quarterback for the Showboats. E.J. Perry was initially viewed as it, but now. Let's be real, the Bills got screwed. I wouldn't fully say that. Yes, it was a terrible call. That was clearly a first down. I can't stand by them being screwed because it's not like the Bills, like if it comes down to that play is the reason you lost the game, it's hard to look at you and be like, yeah, you really got screwed. Because, I mean, the Texans played worse football and still kept it just as close as they did. T. Will's in shotgun, 1 man to his right. Ball is snapped. He hands it off, rushes up the middle for about a 4-yard gain on the first play. All I know is Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, both those quarterbacks need to do something in the playoffs. The bottom line is in terms of legit playoff quarterbacks at this point, it's Jaden Daniels from 1 season, legitimately C.J. Stroud as an argument, and then Joe Burrow, Pat Mahomes, and Hurts. That's basically it. Every other quarterback's not great. Passes thrown to the left, it is incomplete. Receiver wasn't fully turned around. Adams is not fully able to get in a good position, but he still made an attempt for it. Texans got screwed. Okay, look, the Texans played pretty poorly in that game, yet still kept it insanely close. But again, like, I wouldn't say they got screwed. There was a couple questionable calls, but like I said, the Texans played bad football and still nearly beat the Chiefs. If they played a good game, man, they would have dominated the Chiefs. 3rd and 7 for the Showboats with 14 minutes left on the first quarter. T. Will is in shotgun with one man to his left. Ball is snapped, drops back to throw, looks over the middle of the field, sees a man rushing at him, and he gets sacked for about a 5-yard loss on the play. The Panthers defense was able to get him. Remember, the Panthers do not even have Breeland Speaks. Breeland Speaks is out on IR, so that is a Breeland Speaks less defense, and they were able to get the sack on T. Will. Texans O-line and special teams didn't show. Yeah, but when does Texans O-line ever show? That O-line was like so bad last season. CJ Stroud was dealing with pressure the entire season. So we're going to close the poll right now. The poll ended about 73% for the Panthers. Again, a lot of people picking the Showboats to pull off the upset. Again, we'll see. I do think we will see one upset this weekend, but will it be them? Will it be the Roughnecks or the Brahmas? We'll see. 4th and 11. The punt is up. It is not a super deep punt. It is going to be recovered. Ooh, it bounces out of bounds, actually, just shy of the 30-yard line. So not the deepest punt, but a punt. Now let's see if Perkins and the Panthers can answer on this drive by actually scoring. Again, so far in terms of quarterbacks, Perkins statistically is the best QB in the league. So let's see what he does here. Again, RJ Young picking Jordan Ta'amu as the leader MVP, bro. Like, dude, RJ Young, bro. Clear he doesn't watch these games. You know what I mean? Like, I thought his power rankings from a couple weeks was bad. Man, that MVP ranking was even worse. Alright, let's see what they do here. Perkins is in shotgun. No receivers out to his right. He has the running back to his left. Ball is snapped. Looks over to his left. He's going to throw a pretty deep pass over the middle, and it is too high and too far. Incomplete pass on first down. That could have been insane. Yeah, Jaden Sheridan had an incredible run last week, and then Siosi Mariner, man. Again, PFF #1 receiver last season. Still has been a very solid player this season. But, of course, the big receiver in this game is Jay Adams on the Showboats. At this point of the season, you could argue he's the offensive player of the year. He's been incredible despite all the quarterback issues. But let's see what the Panthers do here on 2nd down. 2nd and 10, one running back behind Perkins. They do hand it off on this down. It is going to be a solid 5, maybe even 5.5-yard carry right there for Nate McCreary. Very solid play there. Let's see if they can get a first down here. 0-3 Memphis versus 2-1 Michigan playing a night game in Detroit. Where have I seen this before? Okay. Again, Nate McCreary so far has 106 yards and 36 carries. In the ground game this season across the entire league has not been great. So hopefully we see some solid performances. Again, it's one thing to have one big run and then do nothing the rest of the game. It's another thing to have consistently solid runs. Ball is snapped, drops back to throw, looks to his right, looks over the middle of the field. He's going to do a bit of motion. He's going to run to the left. He's still running. He is going to run for it, but he only gets about 3.5 yards. They're about a yard too far back for me to justify them going for it. Bruh, there's a lineman actually trying to call it a first down, bro. He wasn't even close. I mean, it was one pass, to be fair. I wouldn't say it's inaccurate after one pass, but right there, I like that Perkins was thinking about running, but, man, looks like another 3 and out. Again, I think that they were about a yard closer, I would go for it on 4th down, but this is like a very long 4th and 1, or you can call it a 4th and 2. I like the decision to punt it here. They got a stoppage right now? Oh, just getting people situated. Okay. 4th and 2, they are punting again. It's been about 4 minutes so far in this game. Let's see how the punt goes. It is muffed, or it's a bad punt. The punter gets it, and he gets to the 10-yard. He's going to try and punt it. It's an awful punt, obviously, and it gets out of bounds at about the 20-yard line. The Showboats have the ball in Michigan territory at about the 20-yard line from the awful snap and hold and all that. Oh, man, we got to see a replay on that one. That was a bad play right there for the Panthers. Huge break for the Showboats. Let's see this again. The snap was horrid. He didn't even come close to the punter right there. Wow, that was bad. Terrible snap. Hey, even though the punt was bad, he had to punt it on the fly. Hey, That was a solid play by the punter right there, having to deal with that. But, oh, my God. The special teams for the Panthers have been awful. Devin Ross may have gotten to be a... E.J. Perry is in at quarterback, and his very first pass is batted down at the line of scrimmage. That's wild. This game's going to be wild for sure. Yeah, punter definitely did solid there. Again, he had to make something out of nothing. Better, punt it 5 yards downfield than, lose 10 more yards. But, yeah. Again, E.J. Perry is in at quarterback already, so that was really quick. So let's see what he does here. Man, last week, what a stat line. He literally had 1 true incompletion because 2 of them were interceptions. That was wild for sure. In shotgun and 2nd and 10, ball is snapped. They hand it off to the right, and it's going to be tackled at the line of scrimmage. Again, if the Showboats only get a field goal here, they got a legitimately free field goal. So if you're a Showboats fan, man, you take that any day of the week. A field goal for doing nothing, you take those. Again, 3rd and 10, we're about under 10 minutes now in the first quarter. So let's see what they do here. Defensive and mistakes-filled game. Let's see. Ball is snapped. E.J. Perry drops back to throw, looks to his right, looks over the middle. He throws it as he's getting hit, and it's incomplete. That could be DPI right there. Definitely looked like it was on Jay Adams. And it looks to be on DJ Miller, which is pretty wild. DJ Miller, speaking of that, in the E-Pack, he had one of the, game data moments. I ended up getting 1 of them, and I ended up pulling a silver, which is like 1 in 10. No golds have been pulled, even though there's been like 60 open, so it's pretty wild that's happened, but I did take that silver for sure. Yeah, I mean, they're almost literally holding hands there. I agree. Weaker call, but still, I'm not, fully against it. 1st and goal for Memphis. Let's see if they can actually score a touchdown here. Oh, Memphis flags. Hopefully not too many. The ball is at the 6-yard line. Ball is snapped. Perry hands it off, runs to the left, almost gets tackled behind for a loss, but he ends up going forward for about a 3-yard gain. Going to be 2nd and goal from about the 3, maybe even the 2-yard line right there. Again, you take that, Memphis might get a touchdown here. Got a huge break on the awful snap by the long snapper, and then got an even bigger break with the DPI call against the Panthers. Noel Mazzone, of course, the OC of the 2022 Breakers. That very solid team, though the 23 team was better, that 2022 team still had a very solid offense, of course, with Kyle Sloter as a quarterback. Very solid team. Let's see what they do here. 2nd and goal. 3 receivers out to the right, tight end out to the left. Perry in shotgun, 1 second left, 0 seconds, ball snap, barely got the play off. Run directly up the middle for a touchdown. Memphis is up 6-0 over the Panthers with 8 minutes and 37 seconds left. Deneric Prince with a very solid run up the middle. Very solid couple of plays by him right there. Back-to-back solid runs. Again, that is 6 points that the Panthers just essentially gave to Memphis right there. So again, initial lead for Memphis. Let's see if they can hold on to this one. Absolutely wild right there. E.J. Perry, bro, holding his hand up like he did anything. Yeah, I agree. A shootout, like a legit shootout, would be really cool to see. We haven't really seen any of those this season. Memphis is going for 2. They are 1 for 3 on 2-point conversions on the season. Let's see if they can pull this one off. Ball snap. Perry looks to the right. He's going to throw to the right, the back of the end zone, and that throw is abysmal. Way too high, incomplete. 6-0, Memphis over Michigan after the Deneric Prince touchdown on the ground and after the awful snap by the long snapper. Man, they just keep showing them what they should do. Showing the replay of that long snap again, just terrible. So again, the Panthers will get the ball back. Let's see if the Panthers can answer after the commercial break. They need to do at least something, of course, try and get some points because, man, you do not want to be down like this because that was a very bad start right there. Man, the Memphis Twitter posting it wild. Looks like the stream is over. Again, they keep doing the opening drive kind of thing on Twitter. So, yeah. Did not mean to open that. Do we really see a shootout last year? Though I can't remember seeing a game where both teams scored over 35. I mean, like let's call it like it is. A 35-35 game is like unheard of. You do not see that just because of how it is. Like, it's so rare to see that because the NFL, like, it's important to note that a shootout in the NFL really doesn't even count as being like a big deal in a sense of like the UFL because the NFL has so many games every week because you have 32 teams. We did see the Renegades DC game end 32-31 last year. That I would consider a shootout. Then you had the Stallions Roughnecks, which was 35-28. That's close. Same with the 30-26 Birmingham St. Louis game. You had a couple that would definitely be considered shootouts, especially when it comes to spring football. I would say you had those three. And DC Arlington, that was 29-28. And even St. Louis San Antonio, 31-24. Again, not the biggest of shootouts, but overall for spring football, you rarely see that kind of score. So I would say those ones definitely, yeah. But like the NFL, I think this is the thing that I've talked about people in the comments of the UFL where they talk about bad games, how much of an impact it is. With the UFL, you can't hide a bad game. When a bad game happens, people see it. Whereas in the NFL, because you have the regional broadcast, unless that bad game is on Thursday, which everybody expects, nobody's shocked when it's a bad Thursday night game. But when there's a Sunday night game, that's different. Monday night, we see that. But when it's Saturday at like 4 o'clock or 1 o'clock, it's a regional game. So not everybody's watching it. So when there's a bad game, it's like there was a bad game, I didn't watch. Whereas the UFL, if you see a bad game, it's a big deal. Vice versa, you see a shootout, you know people watched it because it's a UFL game. That's the only game that was on right there. So if we get a shootout tonight, that'd be really cool to see, especially considering like every other game has been pretty bad. Though, of course, the biggest issue with the UFL when it comes to TV ratings tonight is that WrestleMania starts tomorrow, meaning that tonight is the last show before WrestleMania for WWE. So expect SmackDown's ratings to be very high despite all the negative publicity that they've been going on this past week with like Triple H and Nick Khan and all that. But we'll see. Again, all of the games this weekend are on broadcast TV. Yes, does it suck that they have a lot of competition? Obviously. But it's spring football. Like, dude, even if you start the season in February, like I've talked to people, even if you start the season in February, you still have a lot of sports competition. But we'll see. As for this game, hopefully this keeps going. No, Stand and Deliver is tomorrow. It is tomorrow before WrestleMania Saturday. I'm going to watch it after Saturday's WrestleMania because I'm going to stream the game tomorrow between the Battlehawks and Renegades. Kick is up, return at the 20-yard line by the Panthers to the 25, keeps going, gets tackled just shy of the 30 of the 29. I'm going to watch the Renegades Battlehawks game, stream it, and then you're going to have WrestleMania Night 1 come out. And it looks like it might be a fumble that the Showboats get. Let's see. No way. Surely they didn't do this. Surely Devin Ross didn't do this after winning Special Teams Player of the Week, right? Oh, no. Dude, surely he didn't do this. Okay. Fumble recovered by the receiving team. Dude, Devin Ross. My God. Dude. Yeah, the ball was out for sure. Gunther or Jay? Jay's probably going to win, though in terms of what would be better for wrestling, it'd be better for Gunther to win. He is legitimately, when you consider how full-time he is their second biggest star when it comes to him wrestling and how good he is. But Jay's definitely going to win, though Gunther should. Pass is thrown, it is incomplete. It was a very solid pass, but great breakup by the defender. Yeah, Gunther's going to lose, but he should win. I feel like that's the way a lot of them. The guy who should win isn't going to win. It's going to be somebody who shouldn't win gets it. That's how I kind of feel. I'm kind of expecting Mania to be disappointing. I'm kind of more looking forward to Stand and Deliver, honestly, but maybe I'll be shocked. 2nd and 10 for the Panthers. Perkins is in shotgun with one man behind him. Ball is snapped, handed off directly in the middle, and he's going to get about a yard, maybe a yard and a half on the carry. Going to be about 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9. But yeah, I mean, this weekend in terms of sports stuff, I mean, hockey playoffs start. Got the RBC Heritage, but WrestleMania, man, I hope it's good, but I don't know. Not looking as forward to it as I was the last 2 years. Perkins is in shotgun in 5 wide. In 5 wide. Ball is snapped, drops back to throw. Looks over the middle of the field, looks to his left, throws it to his left. It's caught, but he gets tackled immediately. It's going to be about 2 yards shy of the first down. Well, the big thing with Jay is the in-person crowds, because in terms of actual crowds, he is the most over guy in the entire roster, and it's not even close. Because you see the entire crowd doing the yeet. But when it comes to just overall work, I mean, dude, Gunther it's very hard to be a better worker than Gunther. But, yeah. Panthers are punting. Hopefully we get a good snap and a good punt. Again, the special teams unit is looking a lot like in week 2, when they tried to sell that game and did sell that game against the Stallions. Good snap. Punt is up. And it is a very solid punt. It's all the way back at the 5-yard line. Incredible punt up to the 10-yard line in the return. Rolling to his right, running to his right. He gets tackled at the 15. Incredible punt and actual good coverage by the Panthers special teams. I'm honestly impressed they pulled that one off. Massive W for them right there. Would I take a Gunther shot? No. Dude, you can tell those hurt. Dude, when someone says wrestling ain't real, you just say, would you take that from Gunther? No. You wouldn't. that would hurt. But yeah. Man. Hopefully tomorrow is good. Hopefully everything goes well. We get another good UFL game between the Renegades and the Battlehawks. We get another good game tomorrow night. We get a great game on Sunday. Hopefully. I mean, the better the games are, it's going to help with all the TV ratings, it's going to help with things trending on Twitter, all that kind of thing. Basically, all the optics for the league gets better, especially because if you expect there to be good games, right, you're going to be, happy for them, so yeah. Because, I mean, right now I'd assume trending, I doubt we're trending. I mean, we've basically only trended week 1 with Perkins, but yeah. Yeah, Volpe's trending. I wonder what he did this time. DeGrom is trending, bro. I don't even want to know. Hopefully we get a good one, bro. This tonight game. I mean, if the Showboats can score here, this will be a very interesting game. If the Showboats are able to actually score on this insanely long drive, we might see a legit upset here. But again, who knows? Again, it's a good game so far in regards to it being fun to watch. Because, I mean, whenever you see an awful mistake like that fumble or that terrible snap, it's always fun. But, yeah. Roughnecks are beating the Stallions. No one played well last year. That's going to be a fun game. I really do expect there to be at least one legit upset. And, like I said, I think it's going to be San Antonio, but I wouldn't be shocked with Houston pulling it off. Nolan Henderson, if he can continue what he did last week, especially because, dude, if Curtis Johnson beating the Stallions, oh my god, the absolute 180 for him would be insane. So I do think it would be hilarious if the Roughnecks do pull it off, because then everybody's going to be like, who's actually making it in the USFL conference? Let's say Memphis pulls off the upset tonight, and then Houston pulls it off tomorrow. The USFL conference becomes almost wide open. Because then, Memphis is no longer dealing with, being winless against the USFL. They beat the Panthers, so they were at least 500 against them. It would be wild. Jim Turner. Let's see who's at quarterback this time. Will it be Troy Williams or E.J. Perry? Imagine the absolute chaos after the USFL conference gets leveled. That would be insane. Dude, they just cropped out the image that they used when he became the head coach. That's the image they used when he became head coach. Bro, they're using an Adrian Burke tweet? No way. That's wild. That's actually wild. Named interim head coach. Again. T-Will is in at quarterback, so far they're switching every drive. Let's see what they do here at 1st and 10 at the 15-yard line. Ball is snapped. They hand it off to the right. He bounces off. He's pulling a stiff arm, but he's going to get tackled. Depending on where they give him forward progress, he might have lost anywhere from about 2 to 4 yards there. Who do you think the league will bring back into the league after next season? If they're going to bring back a team, it's going to be the Sea Dragons or the Breakers. Well, I think the Dragons, but it's going to be one of those two. I can't really see it being anyone else, honestly, in terms of bringing a team back. It would be one of those two. New Orleans had a very strong TV rating last year, despite losing the Breakers, who never even played there. So it's going to be one of those two. It ain't going to be Generals. I just don't expect them to go to New York, New Jersey area for a while, just because of how much money that area and the LA or the California area is. Ball snap. T-Will quick throws it over the middle. Is going to be caught, but they're only going to get back to the line of scrimmage they initially had. So they're going to be at 3rd and 10 here after the 4-yard loss and the 4-yard gain. 3rd and 10 for the Showboats. Panthers defense could get a really nice 3-and-out, play that field position battle. Again, they had a really great punt. If they get a good return and don't fumble it, we could see this. Yeah, but if it comes to history, you're bringing back the Stars, just how important they are in regards to, being the spring team, winning 2 championships, making it to 3. But yeah, here you go, the Michigan Swoon. It's tradition. Let's see what the Panthers can do here. Again, 3rd and 10 for the Showboats. Will they get this? They got 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Ball snap. Looks immediately to the right. Looks to the left. Quick throws a little screen. And he gets tackled for a 4-yard loss. Incredible sequence by the Panthers defense right there. They are forcing the punt. This is how you play the field position battle right here. Again, if they get a good return or just a bad Memphis punt, they will get the ball with a huge advantage compared to what they had initially. That's, again, special teams. Said before, special teams wins you close games. The field position battle, very important battle, and the Panthers looking to try and win it right here. Yeah, I mean, the Stars and Generals are the 2 teams of spring football. When you think of spring football, you think of those 2 teams above everybody else, and it really sucks that we don't have either of them, but yeah. 4th and 14, they are punting, obviously, out of their own end zone, of course. Let's see how it goes. 2 seconds left on the clock. Ball is snapped. There is a flag. We'll see what that flag is. Might be a defensive offsides or something. And that's going to be another flag, and that's going to be on the Showboats for hitting a defensive player right there. This could be bad for Memphis depending on what these penalties are. They might be offsetting again. It might be a jumping offsides, which it looks like it is. Yep, there's offsetting penalties. What I expected. Ooh, maybe not. This is sounding pretty weird right here. Yeah, call for the fair catch was obvious, and this dude really went for his legs. That's absolutely wild. I actually went to the Battlehawks Sea Dragons game back in St. Louis 2023. Although Ben DiNucci, however you say his name, torched us. That drove 8 hours ago. 8 hours. Wow. For a regular season game, man, I might go to a DC game when Panthers play there, but that would be the only one I could see myself going to. They're still talking this over. This is actually wild. Yeah, I mean, that's what they should be, offsetting penalties. One on the offense, one on the defense. Doesn't matter when they happened, but yeah. When they dropped 4 home games in a row. Okay. I wanted to go to St. Louis anywhere, so it worked out. Wow. I couldn't say that. Because I will say I am not planning on going to the championship game this year. I know that might be shocking to people, but upon thinking about it, it doesn't seem really worth it to go in regards to how much it's going to cost for me to go there this year, as well as it being back in St. Louis. Barring something like drastically changes, my championship journey ends after 2 straight championship games. 4th and 14 for the Showboats. Of course, we are repunting this ball. Punt is up. It is going to be a much deeper punt this time, up to about the 30-yard line. Let's see how the return goes. Goes up to the 35, gets to the 40, gets to the 45, and gets tackled at about the 47. So overall, very solid return by Turner. So the Panthers, of course, getting the ball almost at midfield already. Very solid return there. Let's see if the Panthers can actually score something here. The Invaders had the coolest uniforms and coolest name. If I could bring one of them, I would do the Oakland Invaders. Though I just don't expect there to be a team in California just because of how much it is to be in California. California, New York area is just so much money to be there. Hopefully the new expansion team has a good color scheme. Yeah, I agree. It'd be nice to have another one. Like, dude, the 2022 USFL, man, when you had all those teams with red and white as their color scheme, like, dude, I loved that league, the 2022 USFL, but, like, dude, almost the whole league was red and white. The Stars, the Generals, the Bandits, the Stallions, the Stars. I didn't know I said Stars. I mean, you had the Breakers that weren't, the Panthers that weren't, and the Maulers that weren't. And the other teams were all red and white. Like, oh my gosh. That was wild. Yes, I know the Stars had some orange and all that, but it was pretty much red and white. Which was definitely a wild one. So let's go and look over what's been happening on the Twitter sphere in terms of updates to this game. See if there's anything else that ended up coming up. Let's see. It doesn't look like it so far. Yeah. Gamblers in black. That's true. I forgot about them. Well, I mean, even they had some red in their color scheme. But yeah, for the most part, they were definitely... Yeah, I forgot about them. So, the Showboats are up 6-0 with a massive asterisk. They are up 6-0 because the Panthers, on one of their opening drives, the long snapper just straight up missed the punter on a snap. Like, legitimately thought he was somewhere else. So, the Panthers ended up losing like 5 yards on the punt. So, the Showboats got the ball basically at like the 20-yard line. Then there was a DPI call on the Panthers, so the Showboats got the ball all the way to the 6-yard line, and then they ran it 2 times and scored. So the Panthers did just get the ball back, but now it is 6-0 with the Showboats scoring thanks to Panthers' mistakes. I preferred the orange and purple. One of my biggest regrets when it comes to spring football is not getting one of those jerseys. I loved those jerseys. I thought it was so hilarious. I understand that a lot of people hated it. I thought it was great. It's such a unique color scheme. I loved it. I really wish I had one. So I would say that one up for sure. The San Diego Breakers, nah. If they're going to do a West Breakers, it has to be Portland. That's the only place I'd accept that's not New Orleans when it comes to the Breakers, because they at least were in Portland back in the olden days. You know, of the OG USFL. One of the 3 places they played at. Thank you, thank you. Again, a lot of content had to be made this week that I didn't expect to be made. A ton of stuff for sure. 1st and 10 for the Panthers. Ball is snapped. They hand it off to the right. Gets about 7 yards on the carry. Very solid play right there on the ground for the Panthers. It's cooler, but doesn't fit the Pittsburgh identity. Maybe they're based in... I mean, yeah, the black and gold, I know it's the classic. It's just the orange and purple, man. It was classic. The Utah Vipers. Utah. That'd be pretty wild. Man, I really do wonder what ends up happening in the offseason, because it's going to be interesting to see. Can asterisk. 2nd and 3 for the Panthers. About 3.5 minutes left in the first quarter. Let's see what they do here. 4 seconds left on the play clock. Down to 2. Ball is snapped. They do hand it off. It's a bit of a delayed handoff, and he ends up getting tackled at the line of scrimmage for a 0-yard gain right there. What about 3rd and 3? Not what you want to see there. They need to get a first down here. They cannot afford to punt again. Though, depending how many yards you gain here, I do think this is potential 4-down territory just because you're kind of, in that no man's land area right now. So we'll see. SLC Stallions had... Oh, yeah, Salt Lake City, yeah. I really don't get the Salt Lake hype. I never have, but that's just honestly my opinion. 3rd and 3. Ball is snapped with 0 seconds left. Perkins drops back. Quick little throw out to the right. Is going to be caught for a first down. Very solid play right there. Got the first down and a couple extra yards. Yeah, the Salt Lake Stallions, I remember, John Lewis Sports made his video about, expansion teams he'd like to bring back. And I remember he put that on there, and I was taken aback. Really? The Salt Lake Stallions? That's a team you would bring back? Salt Lake did not have good attendance. That was back when attendance in spring football was, not that hard to get relative till now. Yeah. The only thing is you were about 5-10 seconds ahead of me. Yeah, it depends. Pretty much because I'm on legit antenna TV, I get it, super quick right now. 1st and 10 for the Panthers. Ball is snapped, drops back, looks to his right. Looks at the middle. He's going to run it up the middle, runs to the left, gets to the 32-yard line. Going to be about a yard short. So it basically ends up being that, and considering this is the main point of this is supposed to be a play-by-play kind of thing, it just ends up being where when it's Fox or ABC, I'm usually ahead of people just because I got not only antenna TV, but I've got relatively great signal for it. Whereas when I'm doing an ESPN game, I'm on ESPN Plus, so I'm usually really behind on that one, but yeah. The only thing I know is a lot of people watch this game on streaming. That's the only thing that is a big deal. So it's really hard to tell everybody exactly where they are. Ball snap, run up the middle. It's going to be a first down up to about the 29-yard line. Because that's the hardest part, because every single one is kind of different in their own sense. in regards to how people get it. Because there's been a couple games where, like, I think G-Man has been ahead of me when it comes to these ones. Because it's one of the things where it's just because of how antenna works and all that, like, it can be different for, like, 7 different people. And so it's pretty hard to actually kind of put it somewhere to be exact. And that's the biggest issue for it. I couldn't imagine a spring football fan base in Philly, 9,000 aggressive fans in attendance instead of 50 to 60K. Philly, yeah. That's because I don't have Fox. Ooh. Ball snap, Perkins runs to the right. He throws it. It's going to be caught on the sideline. Turner has been really solid the past few weeks. That was another incredible catch by him on the sideline. Yeah, I know I've seen a few people that don't have certain things like that, but yeah, it's so far ahead. I got to watch it 30 seconds behind for a live play-by-play. Hey, that is something that can happen for sure. Again, it's just one of the things that's really weird because I've seen a few people be ahead of me. Usually Fox is what my fastest one, but sometimes it hasn't been. It's weird because I have this on a slight delay compared to when it happens, like when I speak, but it's not like fully exact. Run right up the middle, going to be a touchdown run. A very solid play right there, about a 15-yard run. Panthers did score. It is now tied 6-6. Toa with the rushing touchdown, of course, just brought back like last week, and he gets the touchdown here. 6-all, both teams in the first quarter. Again, a lot of scores so far in this game right now for sure. Yeah, that pass, I know you just said you're a bit behind, but yeah, that pass by Perkins was incredible. Turner, man, he made an incredible catch back there. Yeah, we might see some sort of high-scoring game, and we really don't see this often this season. 2 touchdowns in the first quarter, love to see it. Let's see if they can actually score on the extra point. Let's see if they actually go for 2, but I bet they won't. And they're going for 1 again. Everybody's least favorite part about watching the Panthers play is they only go for 1 every time. I guess, hey, it's identity. Let's see if they pull this one off. Ball is snapped. They hand it off. Go up the middle. And it is successful. Hey, the one thing I gotta give them credit for is if they can break that trend of percentages and they can have this be like a 75% completion successful, then, hey, keep going for 1. But yeah, that drive looked like last game. That was a really solid drive for the Panthers right there. That's the kind of drive you want to see by Michigan. You want to see them actually run the ball effectively. Again, last year, before the injury to Hills, you had a great 1-2 punch with Wes and Colburn, and then when Wes got hurt, you brought in Perkins, who could kind of alleviate the loss of a Wes Hills thanks to his running ability. So you want to see that for sure. Again, extra point-wise, Michigan's been really solid in the season. They also were 1 for 1 in their 3-point conversion. They've been one of the more successful teams on extra point attempts. Amazing start for sure. We really wanted to see this. Again, we haven't seen a start like this pretty much all, especially for Friday Night Football. I mean, guys, we're actually close to the final score of last Friday's game. Think about that. We are like 1 touchdown away from basically what the score was last time. I mean, what was it, 11-9 last week? Or 11-10? I think it was 11-10, correct? I'm pulling it up, actually. It was 10-9. So we are right on the cusp of hitting the entire score of last week's Friday Night Football game, and we're in the first quarter. That's wild, but true. You gotta love it. Man, that game last week, this is so much better than last week's for sure. Wow, actually, some like somewhat like on time posts by social media accounts on the UFL. That's actually wild. We never see that one for sure. Because of how much a field goal is compared to TD, I do believe you're correct. If you have a high 1-point conversion, it's a good thing, but that's set as sport. Yeah, going for 2 every single time, I've always definitely stood by. Because like last year, I don't remember what video I did it on, but I looked at the actual stats last year, and essentially the points per attempt were significantly better going for 2, because the odds was like a 10% difference. I believe it was like a 40 to 50% or like a 30 to 40 is one of those. So if it's only like a 10% difference, but you're getting 50% or 100% more value or 50% less value, there's no reason to not go for 2 if you are within the analytics. Now, if you can break that, like if Michigan can successfully do this 75% of the time, I expect it to be a legitimately good decision. But, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's all about those percentages for sure. I mean, the NBA 3 for 2 versus 2 is a very good one to bring up, because it's all about the expected point value. Because, yes, when you have a lower percentage chance of it succeeding, that does mean there's more of a chance for you to miss it multiple times in a game. But the expected points per is better. That's the one you, in theory, should do. Now, obviously, 3-point conversions don't count because the actual sample size is so minimal. Because, yes, in theory, you could be 2 for 2 on three-point conversions, but it's not what you really need to do. Kick is up to the 20-yard line. Oh, that gets tackled right before for sure. United, Big Ten, Westie, okay. The three-pointers and data kind of ruin the NBA. That's a Steph Curry thing. Dude, Steph, everybody thinks they're Steph, bro. Like, Steph, whenever he shoots the ball, he'll shoot it like 5 feet behind the three-point line, and I'm like, that's going in. Like, when he misses a shot, it shocks me. Like, I hate how everybody thinks they're Steph. Like, bro, Steph is Steph Curry. You ain't Steph. Stop trying to be. That's what I would say to that. Again, let's see what the Panthers can pull off, or what the Showboats can pull off here. Let's see who comes in at quarterback. It's E.J. Perry. We are switching quarterbacks every drive. They hand it off, run to the right. He gets tackled at the line of scrimmage. That is the end of the first quarter. 7-6 Michigan over Memphis. Again, really solid first quarter so far. Again, for the first quarter, it's the best Friday Night Football game of the season. The Panthers defense, all in all, has been playing really well tonight. Of course, the only touchdown from the Showboats was off the special teams error. And then the special teams almost had another error when they fumbled the ball, but luckily got it back. It's been a game so far. We'll see if they can keep this scoring up. Again, if this goes across the whole game, it'll be a pretty respectable final score, but we'll see. Man. I will say, though, man, I hope tomorrow's a good day with everything. I will say some of the negative press, I know we've kind of talked about WWE a lot today. I know not everybody's a wrestling fan, but some of the negative press that came out the past couple days to me is, like, not surprising when it comes to, like, the wrestlers. Like, we all know Vince is a scumbag. We all know that. But, like, if you're John Cena, you have a guy that essentially, yes, you put in the work, but you had a guy that essentially made you not a star, not rich, but super rich, and one of the most famous people on the planet. Like, if you're Cena, I mean, like, barring Vince literally kills a guy, like, you're gonna say, you care about him. Like, I get the hate he's getting in that regard, kind of. Not really. Like, put yourself in Cena's feet, right, or shoes. If you're John Cena, you're gonna be thanking Vince unless he literally does something that is, like, the worst thing ever. Like, even worse than what he's being accused of. Because Vince made John into one of the biggest stars on the planet. So, like, I get it, but at the same token, like, people need to put themselves in John Cena's shoes. Like, Cena would not be in the position he's in without Vince. Because just like Roman, Cena got pushed back in the day because of Vince, not the fans. He wasn't an organically driven guy. Yes, he eventually got a lot of kids to love him, but in terms of, like, you know what I mean when I say that. But in terms of, like, actually being pushed, it wasn't like Cody Rhodes. When Cody, like, this past couple years was organic. Cena wasn't. So, like, if you're Cena, man, like, I get it. Like, we all agree Vince is a scumbag. We all know that. Even if, which I don't think that they're false, but even if they are false, we all are still going to say Vince is a scumbag. Like, if they put that in that perspective, if both allegations of him come out as false, I believe they're going to come out as true. If they're both false, he's still a scumbag. But if you're Cena, that scumbag made you into who you are today. You're going to basically try to defend him as much as you can. Like, am I wrong about that? Like, I'm just saying. Am I wrong about that? If you're Cena, that's my probably considered a hot take, but shouldn't be considered a hot take. That I get what Cena's coming from because of where he is, because of who got him there. But, like, Vince is still a scumbag. Like, that dude was a douchebag. He was a sexist 100%. But, hey, if you're Cena, he got you all that money. Ball is snapped by Perry. It is almost intercepted, but ends up being a reception for about a 6-yard gain. That was almost an incredibly jumped route by the Panthers, but they were unable to get the interception and instead lost it. There is no way Vince hasn't buried some people literally, but yeah, John would have to witness it and he would still try to look away. Dude, true. Both parts, true. I would not be shocked with what Vince has done in the past. I would not be. 3rd and 4 for the Showboats. Can they get a first down here? Drops back to throw, looks to his right, looks over the middle. He's going to throw a bit of a deep pass in the middle, and he gets incomplete. That could have been a catch and a first down, but there we go. Chat, we're back. I barely hit this cord. So there's a roughing the passer call against EJ Perry right now. Definitely a weaker roughing right there for sure. I definitely agree on that one for sure. But I will say that would have been an incredible breakup by the Panthers defender there on the back end if he had actually caught that ball before. He already dropped it, but that would have been an incredible breakup if he had gotten that. But weak roughing the passer call, but yeah. 1st and 10 for the Showboats at the 40. Ball snap, bit of motion, they hand it directly to the tight end who runs to the left. Gets about 2 yards on the play. Showing Noel Mazzone, of course. Again, the new OC of the team after Ken Wisenhunt is officially stepped down. Was with the Breakers back in 2022. Ball is snapped. Fake the handoff, and EJ ends up running with it, and he gets about 3 yards on the play. Going to be up 3rd and 5. They are entering that no man's land territory where they might go for it in first down, depending on how many yards they get here. Again, still very interesting to see that they're completely switching quarterbacks after every single drive so far. I wonder if that's going to continue, but we'll see. 3rd and 5 again. Let's see what they can pull off here. 16 seconds left in the play clock. About 13 minutes left in the half. EJ Perry is in shotgun with 1 man in front of him, and he's got 1 man behind him, or right to his left. Ball is snapped. Looks to his right, got a quick throw over the middle, and it is incomplete. A bad throw by Perry. That was completely inaccurate to Adams. Yes, Adams could have caught that, but overall that was an inaccurate pass. Again, this is EJ Perry's return to Michigan. Of course, was the quarterback that got the Panthers to the playoffs back in 2023 in one of the most famous games, the Panthers Stars Week 10 game. Again, EJ, so far, he ain't looking too great right now. Again, that pass could have been a little bit better, but Adams could have caught that one. But again, he probably would have got it incomplete because he got hit like right when he got it. The Showboats are going to be punting this ball. Hopefully, for their sake, this should be a very solid punt that pins them within the 10, but we'll see about the return right there. Adams catch that. He might have been dead, bro. The hospital passes is real. The hospital passes are real, bro. Punt is up. It is going to be a bit of a shorter punt, honestly. It gets fair caught at about the 23-yard line. Not a great punt by the Showboats right there. Panthers get a little bit of a break there, but let's see what they can do on this drive. Again, Michigan scores 7. Michigan 6 to the Memphis right now. Let's see what else is coming up right here. Toa touchdown. Okay, we've already seen that UFL. The Chuck GPT commercials. Unironically, I do like the Chuck GPT commercials. I think they are pretty funny, all things considered. Excuse me? There we go. Dude, I was looking at my YouTube studio. One of the thumbnails came up as a literal blank screen. I was like, what the heck is that? Again, so far, this has still been the best Friday Night Football game of the season for sure. I really do wonder. I mean, let me pull up the stats real quick. I forgot to pull those up, honestly, on the side. UFL. Let's see what these stats are right now. Live stats. Right now, EJ Perry and Troy Williams combined for 3 of 6 for 2 yards passing. That's incredible. Bryce Perkins is also 3 of 5 for 25 yards. Ground game is currently 8 carries for 44 yards. Even with the 15-yard line, take that away. That's still a very solid ground game performance by the Panthers so far. If they can keep this up, this might be one of the best rushing performances of the season when you eliminate the biggest rush like I usually do. Again, man, the passing for the Showboats just has not been great so far. EJ Perry with a 42 passer rating. Again, it's early, but still, that's just hilarious. 4 TFLs for the Panthers already, by the way. That is also really bad right there. That is not what you want to see if you're Memphis. That's just a ton of plays that you're losing yardage on. And we've seen that happen so far. I mean, when you get stuffed on, like, first down, you lose, like, 2 yards. It's so hard to recover from, like, a 2nd and 12. That's why it's just as bad. The MLB. You know, while we're in commercial break, let me pull that up as a side thing. What are the MLB stat leaders right now? I know it's still early in the season, obviously, but let me pull it up. MLB stat leaders right now. A bunch of guys with 3 wins, obviously. Aaron Judge batting .400. That ain't going to stay. Wow, 9 home runs already by Soderstrom. Okay, Cal Raleigh, not shocked. I heard he was hot. Pete Alonso up there in RBIs. Love to see that. Literally 2 behind the lead. We take those. All right. That's enough baseball stuff. Do baseball. That's probably enough for me for the next week. The show has been. That was such a good run by Toa right there. Just very solid. Couple of big cuts right there. Love to see it. Again, let's see if they can pull off a score here. Again, the biggest issue with the Panthers is that they're not necessarily a great field goal kicking team. BT Potter has not been a reliable kicker. So the field goal range might be kind of condensed for them unless they really trust Potter at this point or trust the defense a lot, but we'll see. They are currently at the 22-yard line in their own territory. Let's see what they do here in 1st and 10. Ball is snapped. Perkins drops back to throw. Looks over to his right. He's going to run up the middle. He's going to run to the right. He breaks a couple of tackles, but then he gets hit again. He does end up gaining about 1.5 yards on the play, maybe 2 yards. There is a penalty. This could be either holding or a face mask on the defense. And holding on the offense. Or a face mask on the defense. Offsetting penalties right now. Sounds like he's going to be offsetting penalties. Nope, they're waving off the holding flag. Or not. Yep, holding on Michigan. It looks like we're going to be called dual holding, but because of him running out of the pocket, doesn't fully count. So going to be 10-yard loss on the play for the Panthers. Replay 1st down. Holding on Boogie right there. Pretty obvious hold right there for sure. So let's see what the Panthers do here. Again, 1st and 20 now. Hate to see that for the Michigan, but maybe they'll do a nice play here. Wouldn't be too shocked with the read option play, honestly, but we'll see. Still 3 of 5 for 26 yards. Again, 12 minutes left in the half right now. Score is still 7-6. Michigan over Memphis. And they just said some stuff that didn't really matter. Like, they didn't, talk about anything on the penalty, but no flag for illegal contact on the defense. Perkins is in shotgun with 1 man to his left. 3 receivers to his left, 1 to his right. Let's see. Ball is snapped. Looks to his left immediately. Does throw a quick little screen to the RB, who breaks 1 tackle, but then gets hit by another guy who's still on his feet, and he ends up gaining about 7 yards on the play. That should have been about a 2-yard loss. Instead, he gains about 7 yards on the play. Some poor tackling by the Showboats right there, and some good couple of juke moves. Again, if you're Memphis, not what you want to see there. So 2nd and 14 for Michigan now. Need 2 more plays like that, though a little bit better. Let's see if they can pull one off here. Again, under 11.5 minutes left in the half right now. Perkins is once again in shotgun, it looks like, with 1 man to his left. He's got 3 receivers to his right this time and 1 to his left. Ball is snapped, drops back to throw, looks to his left, looks over the middle. He's going to run, but he's going to get hit a couple times. He's still on his feet. They did not get him down. He's going to run. He tries to make a juke move, kind of makes it, kind of stumbles, but still gains about 7 more yards on the play. Again, poor tackling by Memphis. Again, another play that should have been a TFL, this time a sack, but instead ends up being another 7-yard gain. Very poor play by the Showboats in these last 2 plays right here. And showing this replay, that could be a holding right there, but showing that they got hands on him but weren't able to get him fully. That's stiff arm for sure. Again, if you're Showboats, thankfully he did get pulled down, but yeah. You could have argued there would have been 2 penalties, 1 on each team right there. Showed a couple of replays that kind of showed defensive and offensive holding right there. 3rd and 7, Perkins drops back to throw, looks to his left, looks to his right, rolls back, still looking, throws it over the middle of the field. It is caught. Turner makes a move, makes a guy fall down and gets the 1st down, and then about 2 more yards. Again, Turner has been very solid for this team the past couple of weeks, and he continues that this week. Again, great play by him. Made an immediate juke move. Just get the guy's ankles broken and get the first down. Love to see that by him. So again, they ended up getting a 10-yard penalty on offense, and they still ended up getting a first down, which is what you want to see by your offense. Again, the offense has looked much better tonight than it has pretty much any other week, so you love to see that. There is a Memphis defender down right now. Man, Panthers offense actually being somewhat consistent is so wild to see. Man, the Mavericks. I can't believe the Mavericks might actually win this game tonight and make the playoffs. That'd be so wild. They just shouldn't, bro. The Mavericks are not that team. They're not, but they might. Let's see the score right now in the Heat game. That game's pretty much tied. I picked the Hawks to win that game. We'll see, though. Yeah, my playoff brackets, I did make them for the community members, an exclusive video for them. Play-in stuff like I've talked about. The play-in, it's just so pointless in the NBA. It's literally just to add some sort of extra revenue for the league. It's like, dude, the fact that the Heat and Bulls were in the play-in is just... You put two teams that have legit losing records. Not like, no, like 40 and 42. They had losing records, and they made the play-in. Like, I don't know how you justify that as an NBA fan. I really don't. Yet some people will try to. I don't know. I know we voted on it last week, but the NBA, I just... If we get the Warriors-Lakers in the second round, I'll probably watch that series, but that's probably it. NBA is a joke. It's something else. I mean, it is true what people say. It's like the only league where the former players do nothing but just trash the new generation. It's just... The in-season tournament kind of feels like a joke after 2 years, honestly. It's like... Does anybody actually know who won it this year? I'm not even saying that's a joke. Like, who actually won it this year? Because I don't remember. Was it the Thunder? Or the Pacers? Was it the Pacers that won it? I don't remember. Like, they act like it was such a big deal, and I just don't care. Like, I just don't. The in-season tournament, bro. What a failure that was, for sure. But they'll probably keep doing stuff like that. Think it's good for the league. It ain't, but... Hey, NBA downfall, UFL going up. That's what you want to see, baby. Cardinals and Mets tomorrow. Yeah, I'm sorry, Fox. I ain't watching that game. Not when we got UFL football. Not when we got the RBC Heritage. Not when we got NBA playoffs, even though I don't want to watch it. I'd rather watch NBA playoffs than NBA regular season. Not when we got WrestleMania. Not when we got Stand and Deliver. There's about like 6 other things I'd watch other than regular season baseball. All right, let's see. First and 10 for the Michigan Panthers here. Again, less than 10 minutes left in the half. Ball is snapped, hands it off, runs up the middle, gets about 1.5 yards right there. Again, it might just be a very minor thing, but when you see those kind of plays, Michigan is gaining about 1 yard every time, whereas that same play if Memphis did it, Memphis has been kind of losing about 1 yard. It may only sound like, you know, 1 yard difference, but 2nd and 9 versus 2nd and 11 is overall a 2 yard difference. Having to do 2nd and 11 means you have to do back-to-back plays that are over 5 yards, whereas if you're on 2nd and 9, you do back-to-back 5 yards play, it's a first down. So even when you're having those runs being stuffed, Memphis has been doing an even worse job than Michigan on both sides. 2nd and 9 for the Panthers. Perkins is in shotgun and ball is snapped. Fakes the handoff, rolls out to his right. Still rolling. Looks like he's going to run for it. Goes for the stiff arm, and he gets about 1 yard on the play right there. Going about 3rd and 8 for the Panthers here. Perkins is currently 5 of 7 for 41 yards. Again, he started out like 3 of 5. So he's about 2 of 2 the last couple throws. 3rd and 8, let's see if they can get a first down here. If they can get a first down here, that'll really help them out. Keep this drive going. Keep churning the clock. Keep hurting that Showboats defense. We'll see. Again, 8 minutes and 46 seconds left in the half right now. Perkins is in shotgun. He's got 2 receivers, both to his right and his left, as well as his running back in the backfield with him to his left. Ball is snapped. The 1 second left. Looks over the middle. Throws it over the middle. It is going to be an incomplete pass. That looked like it should have been a catch, but he was unable to make the reception right there. So the Panthers will be forced to punt the ball here. Tough break for the Panthers there, but a huge break from Memphis right there. Yeah, he gets hit after it, but he did. That was definitely a bad drop right there. Showing the replay definitely makes it look even worse. He just kind of mistimed the catch right there. USFL 2023 was the best season. All teams still alive. Week 9 competitive games. Memphis Swing, Great Maulers, Magoo Magic. I do agree. I know a lot of people might not agree, but I do agree. The 2023 USFL season so far is the best overall season. Return by Memphis is going to be up to about the 13-yard line. Not a great return. So Memphis is going to have to drive all the length of the field. And it looks like Troy Williams is coming out at quarterback right now. Perkins reminds me of Russell Westbrook. He wants to be able to shoot, but he just can't. Can't someone tell him to just run first and then it'll open up the pass? Got to use the legs more, be quicker. Seems like he has a lot of potential. He definitely has a lot of potential. The thing is, this season, it felt like they didn't want him to run because of injury risk, and then realized that it was kind of not the way to play with him because, like, it worked in week 1 because it was unexpected, but in week 2, he looked a lot worse because once you're not running the ball, you're losing a whole dimension of the team that he brings. So, definitely need him to keep running the ball more. Yeah, both seasons were definitely great, but that 2023 season, I mean, man. Like, I know people hate the 4-6 playoff thing, but, like, which is better? Having 2 teams that run away with the division by week 5 or having all 4 teams competing? Essentially, the 2023 season had 3 playoff rounds, essentially. Because the North Division, week 10 was a playoff round. Both games were a win and in game, and the loser was eliminated. That's what made him so good. That's what made E.J. Perry. E.J. Perry wasn't made because he won a game. It's because he won the game. He won the game that got the Panthers to the playoffs. The Maulers were able to beat the Generals in that Week 10 game, and it was great. And hell, the Gamblers were actually competitive that season, and Memphis was competitive. It was a great season for sure. The worst team in the league missed the playoffs with 1 game. It was just, yeah. I honestly disagree. I thought 2023 had a better quality of play, especially Week 1, because it looked like the teams were, like, not even really rusty. Like, when I think of heading into the season Week 1, the quality of play in Week 1 of the 23 season was, like, really solid in all honesty. I would say that was the best season of the full seasons we've had. That was the best season for sure. Was 2023 USFL just because it was incredible. Everything single game meant something. It was this insanely close one. I mean, even in week 10, I believe there was like a tiebreaker that could have happened for like Memphis. But yeah, it's literally the main limiting factor on high level football. Yeah, it is definitely difficult to see to be a professional quarterback and to be like solid at it for sure. Because, like, you'll see these, like, it's what I hate about people who look at Talmud and say he's good. It's like, when you're somebody like the defenders this season are up there in a lot of stats. There is a super challenge on Memphis right now. Let's see what this is. They're challenging that it's a face mask on the Panthers. Let's see. Looks like it is going to be a successful challenge. Memphis is going to get 15 yards at the end of the kickoff return, or punt return. Very solid challenge by Jim Turner right there. Honestly, I think 12 is a very solid max. Because we saw with 16 teams in the XFL, USFL, that there still was legit talent overall. But if you want, like, the higher level talent, I think 12 is a very solid one. I would say that's a very solid middle ground, having, you know, more than 8 teams, but still having solid players. That's what I would say. T-Will rolls out to the right. He throws it. It's going to be caught. Very nice pass. And it's about a 5-yard gain. Solid pass by T-Will right there. Yeah, when it comes to quarterback play, I mean, like, Kyle Sloter in 2022 led a lot of stats just because he threw the ball all the time. I mean, we've only seen a couple of truly incredible QB seasons in spring football, but that's obviously because we only had, 4 seasons fully be played. So there's only so many quarterbacks you can see. But, like, what Luis Perez did last year was, man, that was incredible. 2nd and 5 for Memphis. We are officially halfway done with the second quarter. Ball is snapped. T-Will looks to the left. Throws it over the middle. It is going to be caught for a first down in about 3 more yards. Again, solid couple of plays right there for T-Will and the Memphis Showboats. Almost called them the Maulers. I mean, they basically are the Maulers. The Memphis Maulers, but yeah. Interviewing Boogie on the sideline right now. That's the guy from Discord. Guy giving a pep talk. Like, dude, I will say, I know people complain about how it doesn't look full. It's so much better when there's fans on the away side of the field. It just looks so much better. I really wish, like, I understand Memphis, but, like, Birmingham needs it. Ball is snapped, rushes up the middle, and again, another poor rush by the Showboats. They probably lost about a yard. Sup, Trevor? She's been pretty good. It's wild how the Showboats scored their first touchdown thanks to that awful punt. I basically just snapped. Panthers had that incredible drive, and right now the Showboats, they were driving, had the bad rush right there. We'll see if they can do this, but it's been fun so far. Again, 2nd and 9 for the Showboats. Let's see what they do here. About 13 seconds left in the play clock. T-Will is in shotgun by himself, lined up in 5 wide. Ball is snapped, drops back, looks over the middle, looks over. He's going to throw a deep pass to the right. It is too high of a pass. Looks like there was a bit of tugging that kind of probably made it a bit harder to catch. There was no tugging. That definitely would have been a catchable ball, but could have been a slightly better pass, but 3rd and 9 for the Showboats now. So let's see what happens here. Birmingham had in 2022, the first couple games 2020 decided to do one-side stadium. Yeah, I really do dislike when they do that. Like, I understand it kind of makes it look better on one side, but when you look to the away side, you see literally no one there. Like, there's a big difference from a few people to no people. That's why I love the games at Ford Field. I think atmosphere-wise, aside from obviously St. Louis and like Audi Field, I think is the best atmosphere in the league. So 3rd best. Ball is snapped by T-Will. Throws it to the right. It is too high of a pass, incomplete. That was a slightly lower pass that would have been a great pass and catch. Instead, it is an incompletion. 4th and 9. The Showboats will be punting the ball here. We'll say pretty wild that Michigan got 2 Friday night football games within 3 weeks. Like, that's pretty wild in my opinion. Like, let alone 3 straight home games. It's one thing, but we know we see it. But 2 Friday night games, wild. That's for sure. Let's see how good the punt is. The punt is up to the right. It is going to be recovered at about it's going to be fair caught at about the 12-yard line. So Michigan, for their sake, would need to have a very long and slow, methodical drive. Memphis, obviously, your goal is to get a 3 and out here. Let's see if they can pull it off with a little under 5 minutes left in the half. Just one quarterback in for a few drives. Yeah, it's wild how they just keep switching the quarterback every single drive. Let me pull it up. Drive so far for Memphis. First drive, T-Will was in at quarterback. Second drive, E.J. Perry was in at quarterback. Third drive, T-Will was in at quarterback. Fourth drive, it was... I believe it was E.J. Perry, right? E.J. Perry. Fifth drive, Troy Williams. They have legitimately switched quarterback every single drive. So if we see E.J. Perry come out, that will be 3 full drives for each quarterback, which is insane. That's even worse than what people complain about Mike Nolan did. At least Mike Nolan made it like somewhat consistent with how quarterbacks played him, but man, this is insane. Just wild, bro. Dude, what am I looking at here? Okay. What a game. You can't make your mind up. Put Dresser win in okay. Now, that's a little bit of a stretch, but I do get where you're coming from. It is wild that they're going to keep doing it. It's like, again, there's a reason it's only worked once. The 2-quarterback system is so difficult to use effectively. It does work if you do it right. It's just really hard to make it work. And like, when you look back at how Mike Riley handled it, it was not a legit 1 in, 1 out. There was times where he would put one guy in for like 3 straight drives, then one guy in for 1 drive, then back to the other one, then back to the other one for like 3 drives. Like, he made it like a random thing. It was like he literally was flipping a coin to decide who came in. That's the only team it worked for. Because they tried it again in 2023 with Prukop, and while statistically he was all right, he just wasn't Luis Perez. And DeAndre Johnson wasn't the same he was the year prior. But aside from that Generals team, it just hasn't worked. Because we've seen multiple teams try it to some degree, and it doesn't work. Because even with the Panthers at the end of the season last year with Lewerke and Perkins, like, it's not like both quarterbacks are playing well. Perkins was. Lewerke, not so much. Whereas with the Generals, you could argue that 2 of the best quarterbacks from that season were the 2 Generals quarterbacks. You can make a case for it. Again, Jamar and Case Cookus, those are your top 4. Those 2 plus, the Generals QBs, but that's the only time it worked. Let's see what the Panthers do here at 1st and 10 with under 5 minutes left in the half. They're at their own 11-yard line. Ball is snapped. They hand it off to the right. Gets about 3 yards on the carry. Going to be about 2nd and 7 for Michigan. Again, just trying to eat this clock here. DeAndre, I think he's kind of retired or did. I don't know for sure, but I believe it's something like that. Let me see. Might be able to pull it up. DeAndre Johnson. No, it looks like he was playing, but I mean, he hasn't done anything since the Generals back in 2023, so it might be one of those guys just kind of out of the league at this point. Ball is snapped by Perkins, throws it directly in the middle. It's going to be cut for a 1st down and then about 4 extra yards. Very solid play for the Panthers there on 2nd down. 1st and 10 Michigan. We're going to pass under the 4 minutes remaining of the 2nd quarter. Again, Michigan, they want to eat this clock out. Memphis still has all 3 timeouts left. If you can force them to have all 3 or at least 2 of those timeouts heading into half, you did a really good job making it look bad for Memphis. 1st and 10 Michigan, with probably going to snap this at around 3 minutes and 40 seconds left in the clock. In shotgun, 3 receivers out to his right in a bunch. They hand it off or fake the handoff. Perkins rolls out to his right, fakes the throw, ends up running for it. Gets the 1st down, still in bounds, gets about another 10 yards, about a 20-yard rush by Bryce Perkins on the sideline after faking the throw. Love to see it. Incredible rush by Perkins there. Lots of good players didn't make the cut because of the merger. And then you also had players who went to teams and the teams didn't give them a full chance. Like, Boogie not being on that 2023 Defenders team is insane considering how that Defenders defense wasn't even good last year. Like, he would have been huge for them and a lot of other guys like that. That's a great run by Perkins. That's what we need to keep seeing, him running the ball. He did that incredibly well in 2024. Let's see if we can do some more of that this game. 1st and 10 for the Panthers with 3 minutes and 5 seconds left. They hand the ball off up the middle, and Toa breaks a tackle, gets about 9 yards on the carry. Again, this is looking like this might be the best overall ground game performance of the season when you combine quarterback and running back. Because Tao's had a couple of solid runs. They can add a couple more. This would be the best ground performance of the season. Because really, so far, it's been Manny Wilkins and Sailors the first couple weeks. That was pretty much it. But this game is looking pretty good, too. Again, it's still only the first half. Still a whole other half of football to play, but at least so far, it looks pretty good. 84 rushing yards on the day for Michigan versus 10 for Memphis. Ball is snapped. They hand it off. Runs up the middle, and he gets the 1st down just barely, so it should be 1st and 10. Should take this down to the 2-minute warning. That would be what I would do here. Just force the 2-minute warning. Make it to where you're either scoring a field goal or Memphis, ain't scoring, basically. Again, 10 seconds before the 2-minute warning, they're just going to let the clock go down and get to it. Traded Marcus Sims for offensive tackle who hasn't even played yet. He's inactive again, by the way. So, yeah, that trade really looking good for Michigan right now. 2-minute warning in the game. Again, it is still 7-6 Michigan over Memphis. Michigan is not in field goal range, but they're getting somewhat close to it. What a game so far. Again, even though we haven't had a lot of points this quarter, obviously, it's literally no points. Still, I would say this is still through almost 2 quarters. This is the best Friday Night Football game we've seen so far. Maybe Michigan, Birmingham, I don't know. Again, we'll see if we can get some more points before the end of the half. I would expect Michigan is going to at least get a field goal here, but of course, if they end up, getting 3 and out here after the 2-minute warning, big break for Memphis. Again, remember, Michigan does get the ball after the half, so they could double up here if they score here and then score again. If they score a touchdown here and then score a touchdown, obviously, after half, it'll be really tough for Memphis to come out of that hole, but you never know. Of course, we've seen things happen before. We've seen, there's San Antonio Brahmas pull it off against Memphis last year. Memphis almost, well, not almost, but somewhat almost pulled it off in week 1. They did get, a second chance on the drive, but T-Will threw the pick 6, so we'll see. Dr. Pepper Blackberry, bro, I am not getting that. Like, bruh. Some ads are just so bad, and this is definitely one of them. It's a pepper thing. Okay. Let's see. Is the play-in game over? While we're in commercial break, we'll check in on some other scores. About 15 seconds left. The Heat are up by 1 over the Hawks. That is wild right there. Let's go to trending on Twitter. Latest. Okay, doesn't look for it. Okay. Trending, bro. NBA play-in can't even beat SmackDown in trending. Ain't that great? That's what I would say. Whatever happened to It's the Sweet One? Oh, I think I remember those commercials. I honestly don't know. 7-6, Michigan over Memphis. We are back from the 2-minute warning again. Michigan does get the ball after the half, so they will have a chance to double up. Again, they are just past midfield right now. They're in Memphis territory, 1 yard away from the first down. They did not give them the first down in the last play. Run directly up the middle. It is a first down and then about another 6 yards. Again, the ground game has been working incredibly well for the Panthers. A lot of that is because Perkins is running the football. Perkins runs the football. It adds an extra dimension to the offense, meaning the defense has to worry about another thing, making it easier for the running backs to actually run the ball. So again, very solid play for the Panthers right there. Going to be a timeout or an injury timeout in Memphis, something like that. Let's see. And we're going to show the replay here on this pass rush. Hands it off, just a completely wide open area. Huge opening right there for the Panthers right there. Incredible. Just directly ran it right up their throat for a solid 7-yard gain, man. Incredible. 1st and 10 for the Panthers now. Again, they're at 90 rushing yards. They might hit 100 in the first half. That would be wild, especially considering they haven't had any of those 30-plus yard rushes. So this wouldn't even be a super inflated 100 yards in the first half. That would be incredible to see. Again, they're currently 9 times higher than Memphis right now. Again, they're at the 41-yard line. Still not really in field goal range for BT Potter, I would say. At least I hope not. Him kicking at this range would be very scary, but yeah. Perkins is in shotgun. Hands the ball off to his right. And they get a solid 7, 8, maybe about 9 yards on the run to the right. Again, he gets hit early, just keeps running those legs, keeps churning, and gets almost a first down on the play. 2nd and 1 Michigan. Incredible ground attack by Michigan right now. Michigan is 1 solid rush away from breaking 100 on the day already. That's domination on the ground. Ball is snapped, handed off again, and it is going to be a first down for Michigan. Again, this is awful for Memphis. You're putting a ton of wear on and tear on the Memphis defense, keeping them on the field for this drive, and you're just instilling your will upon them right now. Again, Perkins is still 6 of 9. He still has a solid overall stat line, 51 yards. Not incredible, but solid enough. And then, man, they're just eating this clock out. When they snap this ball, it's going to be less than a minute left. This is where they got to think about going a bit faster, but not fully, because, again, Memphis has 2 timeouts. You got 3. You want to score with as little time as possible, but you do want to get a touchdown still. 2 seconds in the play clock. Ball is snapped. Fake the handoff. Perkins rolls out to his left. And he does throw it. Is going to be caught and up for a first down and then about a 4-yard gain by Turner. Again, Perkins right there had the legit threat of the run, which actually allowed for a slightly easier pass by him. Because, of course, the defender coming at him was more expecting him to run the ball than throw it. So he's playing it like a run versus a pass in a sense. Again, it's what I've been clamoring for the first 2 weeks of the season. Him to run the football. He did it last week. He's done it a lot tonight. And it's paying off in this game so far. Perkins is just looking incredible so far. That's what you want to see if you're a Michigan fan. They just called their first timeout. Not against calling a timeout here. You got 47 seconds left on the clock. Again, Memphis still has 2 timeouts. I would have potentially waited till you're under 30 seconds for this one. Again, with how the clock rules work in the UFL, it is like college when it comes to the 2-minute warning. First down, stop the clock until the chains move. So, 30 seconds and 2 timeouts, you can do a lot of damage with that much time left. So Michigan, they need to score, but they can't go too quick or else Memphis could, in theory, put up something. Again, Perkins has 5 rushes for 39 yards on the ground, and then he has 63 yards passing on 7 completions with 10 attempts. Very, very solid stat line for Perkins so far tonight. First and 10 for the Panthers. One man to his right in the backfield. Three receivers out to his right and one to his left. Ball is snapped. Handed off. Runs directly up the middle. Gets broken tackle. Keeps going. And he scores the touchdown. Another rushing touchdown for the Panthers. Huge play by Nate McCreary. The Panthers are up 13-6 after that touchdown with 41 seconds left in the half, meaning Memphis will have enough time to legitimately score at least a field goal as long as their offense does something. But again, massive play for Michigan right there. Big touchdown. Another really solid rush right there. Yeah, I hate to say it, G-Man, but that's true. Like, that was just bad. I mean, he just ran right through and he just kept going. Again, if you're doing this, like it's like what Brandon said, dominating. If you're able to just keep running the football and just only do a pass once in a while, it's so hard to take as a defender because now you're having to deal with knowing that you're getting beat in the physicality department, which is what the defense is supposed to win at, is bad. Tired defense for sure. I'll look at that stat in a second, but I wouldn't be shocked. It's already awful. 1-point conversion attempt. Perkins is in shotgun. Motions a receiver from the right to still the right. Ball is snapped. They fake the handoff. Perkins throws to a wide open receiver for the 1-point conversion. Nakua with it. It is 14-6 Michigan over Memphis. Looking at the stats right now, it may only be currently about a 4-minute difference in time of possession, but when you consider how long that drive was, that was a very, very daunting drive. They got that ball with about 5 minutes left and ended up consuming a ton of time. That is just an incredible drive. Just instilled their will on them. That's insane. Again, the defense having to deal with all these rushes, it's so difficult to deal with it. The Panthers, man, if you're Memphis, you're glad that you're able to go to half quickly, get hopefully some points on the board. Because, again, it is still a one-score game right now. It is an 8-point game. Memphis needs to put up a field goal right here. Again, they still have 2 timeouts. They have more than enough time to get a field goal off. They need that field goal to make this 14-9 heading into half, considering Michigan gets the ball after the half. And they've just been dominating on the ground, and they're going to keep doing it after the half. Dude, I don't know. This is feeling a lot like that Perez trade where they traded for a linebacker they cut like 3 weeks later. Like, dude, Cam Carter being inactive back-to-back weeks, it's like, why trade for him? Sad excuse for a football team. Dude, this really is, like, awful. Like, gee, man, I'm sorry about this. Like, this is not good. I thought this game was... I mean, again, it's still an 8-point game. Let's see. The return is up to the 30. They get a solid enough return. They get to about the 33-yard line. Again, that's a solid one. Adam Cohen, go Panthers. Hey, that was a solid drive. That's one of the best overall drives of the season when you across the entire league. That was just a dominant drive. Multiple players did their part on the ground and through the air. Solid drive. Sideline video. Dude, the instant interviews, bro. Of course, they're out of breath. He just ran a nice touchdown. Yeah, this is not looking good for Memphis for sure. I'm glad for spring football before NFL season starts. Pass is thrown. It is going to be caught for a first down. Huge play for Memphis right there. They're going to stop the clock for a few seconds and get, another playoff. Yeah, I love having spring football again. The NFL season, UFL, man, it's just great. NFL season, it's the NFL season, but we love this. Ball is snapped. He throws it to the right. It is E.J. Perry. And there's another first down caught by Jay Adams, who gets down. I would call a timeout here, potentially, with 18 seconds left. Unless they do a quick spike. Being a Showboats fan is not for the weak. Yeah, you got to be strong for that for sure. Ball is snapped, and it is spiked. So the Showboats still have 2 timeouts left with 17 seconds left. They are basically in, long field goal range already. Oh, for sure, I agree with Weedy right now. This is the best Friday Night Football game so far, for sure. And it looks like the Showboats are actually going to do something. My God. I mean, they might actually do something here, which is even more insane. Oh, and by the way, in case you didn't realize it, yes, this is official. Both quarterbacks for Memphis have now played 3 drives because now they have literally swapped again because we have E.J. Perry in at quarterback for the Showboats. Second and 10, quick pass to the right, caught by Jay Adams, who gets out of bounds with 12 seconds left. Jay Adams, another great catch by him and a great run out of bounds by him. As a Detroit Lions fan, I know the pain Memphis fans, I feel you. Dude, being a Lions fan for the last... Even if you've only been a fan for 10 years, man, that must have been rough. But at least the team is really solid to watch now and fun. I know as a Panthers fan, man, this is the last, like, since 2017, it sucked. Like, Carolina Panthers fan. 3rd and 3 for the Showboats. Again, they need to get a first down here. They're going to be forced to kick a field goal. But it looks like Michigan called a timeout. I'm not against that timeout. You just allowed a couple of really big plays for Memphis. Call a timeout. Get your boys, together. Say, like, hey, calm down a bit. Solid timeout by Mike Nolan right there. But you got to keep one for the field goal attempt that Memphis is more than likely going to do. Again, that was a really good drive in Michigan, but this is another really good drive in Memphis. They know the assignment. Get into field goal range, which they basically have. Try to get as close as possible. Again, they still have 2 timeouts left. So if they get a first down, they have a couple of extra plays that they can do. Love to see that. So we'll see. Tomorrow night, of course, Birmingham versus Houston on Fox. We'll see how that game does. 4 of 7 for 39 yards for E.J. Perry on the air so far. Excuse me. 3rd and 3 for the Showboats. E.J. Perry is in shotgun. Again, if you miss this, you got to kick a field goal. If you get this, you might take an end zone shot or two. Ball is snapped. Looks to his left. Looks to his left still. Throwing a bit of a deep pass. Going for it all. And it is incomplete. They are going to kick a field goal here to try and make it 14-9. There's nothing to tolerate less as a football fan than consistently losing close games. Just feels like being worse than a blowout. Yeah, I mean, the Renegades last year, prime example. Losing on like 3 last-second field goals was insane. And this season, people can say it was a joke, but there's a reason why I said their biggest weakness was final drives. When 3 straight games were determined by the final drive, it's just rough to watch. At least if you get blown out, you got beat. Whereas a close game, you have hope, and then it just goes away. 52-yard field goal for Matt Conklin. Let's see if he can make this kick. This is a big one. And Michigan is going to try and ice the kicker, obviously. Solid call by Nolan. Let's see if Memphis can make this one to make this a 5-point game. Lions are the Battlehawks, the NFL. Really strong team overall. Great offense, formidable defense. Only to lose, choke big games. I would say the Cowboys are a better example of that. No, the Cowboys this past season weren't the same, but historically the Cowboys are like that. Really good team that has high expectations for just having high expectations. Very loud vocal fan base. Can't get it done. Yeah, they're kind of similar in that regard. Again, career-long field goal for Conklin is a 57-yarder, so this is not his career-long, but it's still a long field goal. 50-yarders, of course, we have no Brandon Aubrey, no, Jake Bates in the league. Let's see if Conklin can make this kick, 52-yarder, make this a 14-9 game, kind of give Memphis some hope heading into half. 6 seconds left. Odds, there might be like a kickoff after this, but let's see. He's going to be kicking off the right hash or the right side of the field. Let's see. Ball is snapped. Kick is up. It's looking very straight. It is a beautiful kick. It is good. 14-9 Michigan over Memphis with 2 seconds left in the half. That is what you needed if you're a Memphis fan or just Memphis. You needed to get a field goal there. You need to make it to where Michigan can only do so much damage on their next drive. They're getting at the half. Again, if Michigan scores a field goal, then congrats. You're where you just were before you missed this or made this kick. If they score a touchdown, it's still a closer game than it would have been. This is important for them to actually score here. Now, are they going to trot out E.J. Perry in their next drive? Or are they going to keep doing this trend where they just flip-flop quarterbacks? We'll see. But overall, really good drive in Memphis. That's their best drive of the day. Again, they only got a field goal, but that was a really good one right there. Jake Bates has got one of the best dream stories for a player. Oh, for sure. The brick salesman going to the UFL, kicking the 64-yarder not once, but twice because of the timeout and all that. And then having another couple 60-yarders, going to the Lions, breaking all those records. I mean, it was insane. Yeah, 3 touchdowns in this game so far is insane for sure. We just don't see that this season, especially in the first half. Well, we kind of do with DC, Memphis, or St. Louis, but in the second half kind of tapered down. We'll see if this game keeps going like this in the second half. That'd be pretty cool to see. We'll see. Again, 2 seconds left on the clock before we head into half. Let's see. And while we're doing that, let me check the NBA. The game is in OT, but it looks like the Heat are going to win. Wow. Return is up to the 15, to the 20, to the 30. Gets tackled shy of the 30. So, time to head into half. Halftime score is 14-9 Michigan over Memphis. This is shaping out to be one of the best games so far this season. Oh, for sure. This is a really solid game. I mean, Michigan, I mean, Memphis always is in good games. Michigan was in a great one against San Antonio last week, and this one might even be better than that one, which is insane to see, but it could be. Really good game so far for sure. Interviewing Mike Nolan right now. Javin White is out for the remainder of the game for the Panthers, and it looks like he's going to miss a few weeks with a fractured arm. Hold up, I just missed the last week with a fractured forearm. Not good, not what you want to see right there. Again, injuries to the Panthers have been just piling up. Hate to see that. Memphis is by far the funnest team to watch because for whatever reason they always have the best games. I mean, if you're always in close games, it's because they are a complete team. Like, I know people don't want to hear it, but it's true. In terms of overall, they are one of the more complete teams. Their defense tonight hasn't been playing as good as they usually do, but through the season, they've been a very bend, don't break type of defense, and the offense has been a unit that can score a couple times a game. So they're always in these fun games, whereas like DC's offense is just so hard to watch sometimes. And then Birmingham's offense the same way. San Antonio looked really solid last week. They keep that up this week. This is going to be a fun game, but we'll see. But Memphis, man, they're so far 4 for 4 in fun games to watch, which is, a lot of credit to them. Just, wish that they would win a game. But yeah, that's pretty much all I can say for that. Best Friday night game so far, 100% agree. I would say it's definitely not even really close. I mean, the best one so far was like Birmingham, Michigan, and this is a lot better than Birmingham, Michigan. I think we can all kind of agree on that one, that's for sure. So, love to see that for sure. That's what I would say. I mean, just really solid. Imagine Memphis with Flip still there. Yeah, I know a lot of people are still wondering about how the team would be with Flip as the head coach at this point, but when Jaron Horton, they needed to bring in him with Flip. I think that could have been a fun duo, but yeah, hard to tell. So, yeah, it's a weird one. But, of course, we're at the half. Again, Michigan is up 14-9. Again, tomorrow's sports, this weekend sports, again, is going to be pretty fun. Again, the big thing is WrestleMania. Of course, we talked about it a bit today. WrestleMania is tomorrow. Of course, you have a lot of big matchups, to crown some new champs. I know, and not everybody's a big wrestling fan, but WrestleMania is one of the biggest events of the entire year. No matter what you think about wrestling, it just is. Build so far have been really weak. It is definitely the weakest of the last 3 WrestleManias, for sure. I think it's going to be the weakest show of the 3 as well. This one, 40 and 39. It just feels that way. Hopefully I'm wrong, but I don't know. Now, I know I glanced over it early in the game. Again, we're in halftime right now for those of you just joining in. But I talked about it earlier. Of course, I went to the championship game last year for the UFL, and I'm planning on not going to it this year. I know it might be shocking because I've said in the past I want to go to every UFL championship game. Essentially, to go to St. Louis, it's just not worth it. Like I've talked about it before, in terms of cities to go to, St. Louis is one of those cities that you go to it once, and you go to it once. Like, it's not like a New York where you can legitimately go, like, 10 times and still have a ton of stuff to do. Like, once you've been to St. Louis, you've pretty much done everything in St. Louis. And it's like, number one, if I'm driving 13 hours, Toronto's 13 hours away. I've always wanted to go to Toronto, go to the Hockey Hall of Fame, Toronto Expo, the card show. That's 13 hours away. In terms of, but I'm not even going to go to that this summer. I'm just using that as an example. When it comes to St. Louis itself, it would just, to go there would cost so much for one game. If the game was earlier, because this year it's actually a night game, last year was an afternoon game. I'm not even joking. If it was an afternoon game, it would be better for me, because then I could just fly in and out that day. But the fact that it's a night game means that no matter what, I have to stay, Saturday night, because I can't just fly in and out on Saturday. So it just is going to cost a ton of money for one game. And God forbid it ends up being like last year's game where it was 25-0. I can't justify going. Again, there could be something that comes up and that changes. Never say never, but odds are I'm not going to the championship game this year. I was really hoping it was going to be an Audi Field. And I know a lot of the other places have stuff going on, but there's a lot of places they could have gone. Like, Tom Benson Memorial Stadium was the best venue because, again, when you have a venue that's not part of a market, it forces you to make plans to go to said game. because you're having to make a trip out in advance. Because the thing with St. Louis is like, people didn't have to go to the game because they weren't going to miss anything because they were just going to go normally. But if like you're making a trip to Canton and it's 5+ hours from no matter where you are in the country when it comes to the teams, you have to make a plan to go there. So the attendance in person is going to be better, especially on TV, than other places. So yeah, hopefully next year it's somewhere else. Audi Field would definitely go, but St. Louis, nah. Washington Showboats, okay. That's a while. UFL should have announced Cashman Field as champion. That would have been great. That would have been a grade A troll job. Cashman Field for the UFL championship would have been hilarious. I would have loved that for sure, honestly. Unironically, would have been great. That would have been great. Let's see what else is here on Twitter. Next great kicker, yeah, Coughlin. I don't know about that, just because he's been in the league for a while and he's a big one. Of course, I forgot about that. That is a big deal. PJ Hall and John Adkins, I completely forgot about that, are out for the Showboats with injuries. Of course, that is a big deal for why this ground defense has been so much weaker. I did completely forget about that one, but yeah, injuries are piling up for the Showboats defense, but the Panthers overall taking injuries, so it'll be interesting to see. This might become a war of attrition in the UFL conference. Because, I mean, if it becomes a war of attrition, Houston somehow might pull off a playoff appearance, which would be insane. But, it could happen. I don't think it will. But if the Panthers keep getting hurt because they just lost White for possibly the entire season, it sounds like, from what Larson said. So you're losing another defender. Now that's 2 defenders and 2 offensive players that you just lost for essentially the season. That's rough. That's hard to overcome. Let me see if I can pull this up. No, I can't. I will say, I'm still waiting on my order from ePack. Again, I'm going to do some sort of, small video of the cards I get from ePack. But, they still haven't shipped. I know I picked the cheap route, but the cheap route should not take this damn long. It's wild how long it takes them to actually send stuff. It's just insane. It says status shipped, but it hasn't. It's just ready to begin shipping, and it's probably not going to ship till, the end of April, because it said it wouldn't even arrive till May. And that is, a 73 card order. That'd be a fun video to do, but maybe one day it'll actually get here. And then they charge, 25 cents or something per card. You're going to charge per card and then still have 8 years to send it. Bruh. Yeah, I mean, that's why I really dislike the idea of having it in one of those stadiums, but at least if you're rotating it, I get it. But if you're only putting it in one stadium, it's just not great. I love how Jim Turner's letting both QBs get film. However, EJ Perry is the clear, more consistent, better QB so far. I don't know. We'll say that, and then he'll throw bad interceptions out of nowhere, because that's the thing. It's just really whack. The 2 quarterbacks, it's like I said heading into the season. I saw a lot of people say this quarterback room was really good. This is back when they had Dormade. I called it initially. You know what these guys are. You know they're not championship-level quarterbacks. I've been wrong about a lot of takes. The Showboats quarterback room is scary how correct I've been. I called that out immediately. That you knew what these quarterbacks were, but you knew what they weren't. You knew they weren't elite guys that weren't the great tier of quarterbacks, and that's what's been their biggest downfall is quarterback play. So it's yes, one might be better than the other, but it's like if you're doing a test or if you're in class, right? Yes, a 76 is better than a 74, grade, but they're both still C's. You're not even going from C- to C+, you're going from C to a slightly higher C. That's what this quarterback room is. And so it's that's what hurts for them. Sup, Kick Surfer, nice to see you here. Are those still available to purchase? I try to buy some packs every time. Yes, I believe they still should be. The UFL pack should still be. I don't know why you would be getting an error message. I just don't know. But they are definitely still available. And they do have, at the moment, let me see exactly which one they have right now. Game dated moments. Yes, so we did just lose out on last week's UFL game dated moments. Now there's a Teamu one. Last week there was 3 of them. I ended up actually pulling a silver of DJ Miller. Like, I had never gotten a game dating moments. I thought if you pulled the silver, you pulled the silver. So I opened the pack. I got the base one. I was like, okay, you know, this is what I got. I didn't get lucky. And then I saw the silver come out. And I was like, oh, wow, nice. So I got the silver of that one. That was definitely cool to get. Loved that for sure. Yeah, the wide receiver core is really good. It's just a shame that the quarterback play isn't great. So I got the silver DJ Miller, the base DJ Miller, and I've still got some base cards. Still got a couple blues. I only shipped like one blue of each Panther to me. There's a couple of things, like, there was a lot of things I was thinking about doing, but then once everything got bought up super quick and the boxes were as much as they were, I was like, I'm good. Like, I still have a bunch of exclusives on my account that I want to trade for Panthers, but we'll see. Oh, you know, while we're in half, it all goes back to the fun game. Hey, this game is a fun one. It's just a shame that it's not it. Dude, those RJ Young rankings were abysmal, dude. Jordan Ta'amu was number 1. Like, bro. I will say, for those of you who were here a couple weeks ago, I showed some of my Josh Wiley cards, you know, tied into the Bearcats. Run game. Yeah, the run game. That's what I thought. Yeah, the run game for the Panthers, it's just been dominating. Like, let me see. So, right now, the Panthers have 120 rushing yards to the Showboats 4. The Showboats' longest rush is 3. The Panthers have not 1, not 2, but 3 players with a 15 or higher yard rush. So it's not even like they have one big rush. They have multiple big rushes, but are overall rushing solid even without that. So it's just been a really rough one so far for them. But, I mean, like, dude, the defenses just haven't been doing great for the Showboats right now. It's just a shame. They're 0-5 on third downs, by the way. Just a fun fact, which is horrid. I mean, that's abysmal, but yeah. But yeah, in terms of Josh Wiley, I did get this recently. Hold up. Okay, the glare is there. Okay, let me see if you can read that. It's not loading. Come on. So we're just, okay, well, since the camera's not doing great quality, this is the Superfractor autograph from Bowman U. So that is, the second Bowman U 101 I have, as I also have the black shimmer. So I now have 2 of the 3 Bowman U 101s for Josh Wiley. I loved getting that. It ended up being a birthday gift to me. So that was a huge pickup for my collection. Still need the regular Superfractor, but I've never owned a Superfractor despite being such a popular card. And by the way, we're just talking about random stuff as the half is about to start. So for those of you just joined in. So yeah, I mean, I love getting that. It's incredible to own a Superfractor on my stand right next to the black shimmer and the select black 101. Even though I should have the National Treasures one up there in the middle, I don't. Like, I got my thing right here, but hey, cool pickup. If you can't justify the cost, you know why Alabama fans won't go see the Stallions as no other than going that game. There are no other. Go to Birmingham, why local ownership and promotion is so important. Yeah, like, if it was in Birmingham, I would have gone. I would go. If the championship game was in Birmingham, I'd go. If it was in Audi Field, I'd go. If it was in Michigan, I'd go. It's just, like, St. Louis, like, I've been there once. I don't want to go there again. Like, if you haven't been to St. Louis and you are a UFL fan, I would say make the excuse to go to St. Louis be the game. But once you've been there once, I don't know. I just can't justify going there again. Especially with how much it is. Because it's not like with Canton, you can do so much. You're like 2 hours away from so many places. You're less than an hour from Cleveland. So there's so much to do in Canton, which is why it was such a great place. DC, you can go to DC 6 times and still have stuff to do. But yeah, like, I wish the game was in Birmingham. I would have loved to go to Birmingham for the championship game, but maybe in the future. I doubt it, though. The way it sounds like St. Louis is going to host it for a couple of years, but we'll see. You know. Yeah. I mean, let me see this. Birmingham to St. Louis. I mean, Birmingham and St. Louis is only a 7-hour drive. I would say it's a bit different. 7-hour drive, that's not terrible. That's not a bad drive. Kick is up. It is returned to the 30 to the 35-yard line for the Panthers right there. Like, Birmingham and St. Louis is not a bad drive. I've always said it, a 10-hour drive or less, and 10 hours, not 11, 10 hours or less is drivable distance. Because once you hit 11 hours, when you hit that mark where because of when you have to wake up, when you have to make stops, you just get screwed over the next day. But 10 hours or less, doable. In the hospital, we have great hospitals. I mean, I know off the top of my head, there's not a ton of things in Birmingham, but I've never been to Alabama, and Birmingham is one of those cities that it would just be cool to say you've been there. Like, I could see doing that. I wouldn't go out of my way to go to Birmingham, but again, if it's to see the UFL Championship game and then see Birmingham, I can justify that. 1st and 10 for the Panthers. Ball is snapped. It is a handoff up the middle, and he gets tackled for about a maybe 1 yard gain. Again, if the Showboats can do that, they can help stop this Panthers ground game. Again, it's been insane that first half. Sheridan was the only running back that didn't have a big play last half, so we'll see if he can make one here. And Malik Turner, man, he's just been incredible so far. He's just great. Okay, let's see what the Perkins offense can do here on 2nd and 9. Might even call it 2nd and 10, but let's see. Yeah, 2nd and 9. Perkins is in shotgun, 1 man to his right, 2 receivers to his left, 2 to his right. Ball is snapped. Fakes the handoff. Quick throws to the right. Is going to be caught. Almost breaks a tackle, but doesn't necessarily get it. But he still ends up getting about 6 yards on the reception. Going to be about 3rd and 3 for the Michigan Panthers right there. Again, Perkins is about 8 of 10. He's, again, after the start, he's basically been like almost perfect. He's been very accurate after those first couple of drives. Hasn't thrown the ball too much, but hasn't really had to. Again, if you don't have to throw it, don't throw it. Just run it. 3rd and 3 for the Panthers. Wouldn't be shocked with a read option play or something. Maybe even a QB draw here. Again, they're lining up in 5 wide. Perkins and shotgun, obviously. Ball is snapped. Drops back to throw. There is a flag. Quick throw up the middle. It is going to be caught. That should be defensive offsides if there's initial flag. So, huge flag right there. Or huge play right there. Let's see if the flag is. Could be illegal formation or something. Illegal formation on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Talk about a dumb thing. Like, dude, the fact that that's not a dead ball foul is insane. That's insane it's not a dead ball foul. Why, other than visiting the hospital, would you go to Birmingham? I could say the same thing about Raleigh. I live in North Carolina. I know people who come to NC to visit Raleigh. There's no reason to. Like, no offense to Raleigh. There's no reason to visit Raleigh. And I've seen people who come to NC to visit Raleigh. Not to go to Raleigh in the beach, to go to Raleigh. There ain't nothing to do there. 3rd and 9 for the Panthers. It's just to go see a big city in a state you haven't been in is pretty much the only thing. Panthers are in shotgun. Ball is snapped. Drops back. Looks over the middle. Looks to his left. He throws a deep pass over to the left. It is too high a pass. Incomplete. That was a slightly less pass. It would have been great. That's a bit of that inaccuracy you don't like seeing out of Perkins, but overall, almost a great play. 4th and 9 for the Panthers here. They're going to have to punt the ball. Big stop by Memphis. Getting that field goal looks even better now because, of course, it's still a 5-point game. Love to see it. Again, Perkins did some really good pocket movement, but that throw was just a bit too far. Almost a beautiful pass, but still, yeah. Punt is up. It is going to be returned starting at about the 8-yard line. Gets to the 10. Gets to the 15. Runs to the right. He's still running for it. Gets to the 20. Gets to the 25, the 30. The 35 makes a move, the 40, the 45, the 50, the 45, the 40. A massive punt return for the Showboats. They're getting the ball in Panthers territory at about the 40-yard line. Incredible return by the Showboats right there. That is insane. What a play right there. That is insane. Started at the 8-yard line, got all the way to Michigan territory at the 40. Incredible play by the Showboats right there. Man, it's huge. Alabama has a lot to do. We're a rural outdoor state, which is why we love football so much. But there is 0 promotions for the Stallions. If only it was only Birmingham. If only that was the only place that had that issue. E.J. Perry is playing in quarterback. That is what you love to see, letting him get another drive. And he ends up doing a really nice fake and gets about 4 yards on the carry. Again, just like G-Man said, Michigan's special teams is so abysmal this season. They got like kind of a phantom special teams player of the week award in the sense that it's like a reward for having one good player have one good week. But overall, man, this unit is ass. And they just did it again, letting Henny have that massive return for the Showboats. 2nd and 5 for the Showboats here in Michigan territory. Again, they already are in field goal range with Coughlin, which is what you love to see if you're a Showboats fan. Let's see if they can get a first down here in 2nd and 5. Ball is snapped. Perry drops back to throw. Looks to his right. He's scrambling. He's going to run for it. And he gets the first down and then about 2 extra yards. Going to be first down at about the 27-yard line. Huge play by E.J. Perry right there using his legs. Again, sneaky athletic kind of guy, able to run the ball. Love to see that. Again, that kind of punt return is just huge for your offense. Yeah, he fumbled it, but he got the ball back anyway. Literally doesn't matter. He got that ball back. So, but again, that is a bit of ball security question because that was an incredible punch out by the Panthers. That was a clear fumble, but he did get the ball back immediately. So yeah, lucky break for him. Ball snapped. It is a handoff to the right. Actually, a good run for the Showboats. About an 8-yard gain on the right with the carry right there. Solid play for the Showboats. Again, this is what you love to see if you're a Showboats fan. Very solid drive, 2nd and 2 right now, in very short field goal range, but they do want a touchdown to get this lead over Michigan. E.J. Perry is in shotgun, 2nd and 2. Ball snapped, fake the handoff, quick throw out to the left. It is going to be caught for incomplete it looks like. Maybe even interception. Let's see what they call it on the field. Calling it on the ground. This is going to be a very important play to review. They're ruling it maybe an interception. Let's see. The ruling on the field is an interception for the Michigan Panthers. My goodness. We got to see a replay on this, though. This could be hitting the ground, could be something. Let's see the replay first. Almost a catch. That's an interception. It never hit the ground. That's insane. Huge break for Michigan. That's not even on E.J. Perry. The receiver did not hold on to the ball. That is a massive, massive break for the Panthers. That is awful for the Showboats. G-Man's right. That is... E.J. Perry's going to... People are going to see that box score and going to say, man, he threw a terrible ball. He didn't. But you know what? At the end of the season, it's going to count as an interception. It's because we have so little to do here that go to see the Stallions would be something to go if they were promoted. I mean, dude, the amount of people I've seen or talk about like how they have to do word of mouth even in cities, it's just abysmal. It really is sad. But hey, as long as people do at least the word of mouth, do their part, try to help the league. I mean, Birmingham, man, it sucks. Cause especially when you see like other teams like Arlington's attendance been a lot better than we expected it to be. Michigan's been a lot better than we expected it to be. DC, honestly, is better than I thought it was going to be. I thought DC was going to take a hit this year. It really hasn't. St. Louis, bro. Like, St. Louis, you know what their 10's going to be. But then you have Memphis. The one thing I'll say if you're from Memphis fans, G-Man, I will say that so far this half, I mean, again, that was an incredible drive until the bad luck interception there. But again, you looked like you were able to stop the run initially. If you can do that again, get the ball back, we'll see. Hopefully, E.J. Perry comes back out at quarterback. We'll see. Chargers level wide receiver. That's okay. I don't know if I'd say that. Quentin Johnson would. I don't even know if he would have held on to the ball that long. Dude, this is... I hate when ads are like this Harry Kane ad. Like, dude, I hate when I see an ad that played like a year ago and has been off TV for like 7 months. They play it again acting like it's new. Like, bro, this ain't new. I've seen this like 7 months ago. Dude, the Heat did win. Yeah, I know. Dude, the NBA play-in tournament is a joke. Like, dude, the Heat suck and the Hawks somehow blew it. That's hilarious. Trae Young, who? Assist leader, who? Remember, people called that a win-win trade between between the Hawks and the Mavericks with the Luka Trae Young trade. Yeah. Win-win? I don't know about that one. Perennial MVP contender but never winner versus Trae Young. Just saying. No disrespect to Trae Young. Well, could call it that. The Showboats team did not catch a break. Yeah, that is a bad one. That's the opposite of the COC Mariner play last season, where it was the opposite. The defender got the ball and was a clear interception, and he just ripped it from him and got a reception. That's the exact opposite of that play. So the Panthers have now been on both sides of it, benefiting themselves. That's insane. Maybe I need to visit a Birmingham hospital, bruh. Dude, oh my god. If you are sick, come see the Stallions. Hey, going to the shirtless pyramid in the rain is a great way to get sick. So honestly, not even wrong. First down run play to the right is going to be about an 8-yard gain. It hurts to see this team get in its own way so much. Man, like, It really is wild. This team is so much like the Renegades last season in a lot of ways. Just close, heartbreaking losses. Just like surefire potential win kind of scenarios, and they're just blowing it themselves. You just had a massive return. You having this great drive, and then you get just like an abysmal interception. Abysmal not because of the quarterback, but just like how was that an interception? Perkins holds onto the ball, fakes the throw, makes the defender jump, and then gets the first down on the run. Again, Nolan, bro, I've been one of your biggest defenders because I've seen a lot of people hate on you for being a coach. Why weren't you having Perkins run the first 2 weeks of the season? That play right there worked because he was running the ball. And then he fakes the throw, makes the defender jump. So now he has an open lane to run. He wouldn't have done that the first 2 weeks of the season. Still, better late than never. Big play by Perkins right there. First down, Michigan. 1st and 10 for the Michigan Panthers. 3 receivers out to the left. Ball is snapped. Fakes the handoff. Looks to throw to the left. Throwing a deep pass to the left. It is a wide open receiver. Caught for about a 15, 20-ish yard gain. To Cole Hicatini, the tight end of the Michigan Panthers right there. Solid play right there. You know, I really do appreciate the comment, but the worst part about that is you're not the only person that said something like that. And it's really sad that it's actually true. That, like, people like me, people like James Larson, people like, you know, Royce or Viking Wax Press are people who are promoting this league better than the league itself. It really is sad how true that is. Cole Hicatini, nice play by him. 1st and 10 for the Michigan Panthers. Fake the handoff. Perkins runs to the right. Fakes a couple of runs. I would throw the ball away here. Yep, just throws it in the dirt. Good play by Perkins right there. If this game hits over 9K in attendance, this is a successful game in attendance for sure. Just because I've talked about this for years. Like, when you have 3 straight home games, it always hurts. But if this game hits 9K plus, that'd be really impressive. And I do agree. So far, Michigan's been the biggest success when it comes to attendance. Which, like, again, I've been pretty damn wrong about the defenders so far this season. But Michigan's attendance, I said that the whole Jake Bates phenomenon was going to really help them for sure. Well, yeah, going to see them play in the rain would be a great reason. Or have a great hospital. Is true. How much longer in the game? Right now, there's 8 minutes left in the third quarter, so 1 more quarter and then 8 minutes in this one. Perkins runs up the middle, gets caught for about a 1.5 yard gain. Again, we're about halfway into the third quarter now. Then we have the full fourth quarter. That's about how much time is left. Yeah, Panthers have both sides open up. This is my favorite thing about their games. They have both sides actually open for people instead of Birmingham, which only has the one side, or Memphis, which, you know, well, Memphis, again, they did it before, which is why I call it out. But yes, technically they're going under renovation. The other side, blah, 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 blah. 3rd and 8 for the Panthers. Let's see if they can pull this one off. Again, Memphis, this could be a big stop for them. Let's see if they can get it. Again, they need to get to the 48-yard line in their territory at Michigan. Let's see if they can pull this one off. Perkins is in shotgun. Ball is snapped. Looks to his left. Looks over the middle. He's able to evade the sack. He's running up. He gets hit as he throws. Incomplete pass. Great pressure by Memphis right there. Memphis has not been an incredible team at getting the quarterback. That was a great pass rush right there. We're able to stop Perkins from doing anything. Prevented him from running. Made the throw worse. Forcing a punt. Great play by the Memphis defense. Bailing out that offense and that terrible interception from the receiver. Memphis has no sides. Okay. Great pass rush right there by the Showboats. That's something you have not seen this season. Again, the sack's not going to show up on the stat sheet, but that is how you get pressure right there. Oh, no. We have to watch the Michigan Panthers special teams unit. Guys, watch out. This could be bad. The punt is up. It's going to be returned at about the 20-yard line. Makes a man miss. Gets to about the 26. Actually, decent coverage by the Panthers special teams unit. Should we take those? We take those. Can we get the end zones opened up? No, we ain't going to see that. The Mavericks and Grizzlies. I forgot that's a game, bro. Insane interception. Bruh. Ducky card, okay. Bro, people are talking about Tarpley like it was okay. I get it. You know, never mind. I'm gonna not say anything about that interception. We talked about it enough. We made fun of that guy for enough. You understand the league, and if needed, you could even promote reasons to visit each city. I could definitely come up with at least something. I wouldn't want to for St. Louis. I'm sorry. I know I've done a lot of St. Louis hating this stream so far, but like the city of St. Louis, not the Battlehawks. That might be worse. But like DC, man, I've been to DC twice, maybe 3 times in my life. I would definitely be fine going again. Really fun place to go. Again, a lot of it is just being able to go to a place you've never been to before in terms of state. Because a lot of people have only lived, been in their state. I mean, Texas, never been to Texas. I'd be down to go to, one of those cities. Even though it's a long drive, actually I wouldn't drive. I would fly. I'm not driving that. My limit for driving is probably like 15. If you're sick or dying, visit Birmingham and see the Stallions play while you're there. Hey, if you're in the shirtless pyramid while you're already sick, you can only get so much sicker. Hey, why not? It's like that kind of thing. You're already not feeling well. Who cares if you feel a little bit worse? That kind of thing. That's a good way to view it. Man, it's something else for sure. This is just wild. What a game so far. I think it's Week 10's FNF2. I think it might be. I remember there's like one really good Friday Night Football game I'm thinking about too. I really got a failed to log in alert. Dude, I put the wrong password in my account once. Dude, respect them for telling me about that, but dude, I wish you would send my cards faster. But 1st and 10 for Memphis at the 26-yard line. Ball snapped. They hand it off. Runs to the right. Gets to the 30. Gets to the 35. Just about a yard shy of the first down by Memphis. 2nd and 1 for the Showboats. Let's see if they can get a first down here. Again, they need to do something to keep this. They need to do what they were doing in the last drive. T. Will is back in at quarterback. He runs the ball to the left. Gets the first down in about a couple more yards. Solid play right there. Again, I would have liked to see E.J. Perry come back out. It's like you punished him for your receiver making his mistake, which is wild. But hey, T. Will is able to run the ball even better than Perry. Not like insanely better, but better. So we'll see if they do that a bit more. 1st and 10 for the Showboats. Under center, we very rarely see that. Under center with one man behind him in the backfield. They do hand it off, runs to the left, gets to the outside, and gets about 5 yards on the carry right there. Very solid carry for the Showboats right there. Again, this is looking like another promising drive so far. It's still early in it, but if they can keep this up, as long as they don't turn the ball over this time. Again, this team still can't get a turnover, so we'll see. 2nd and 5 for the Showboats. 5.5 minutes left in the third quarter, but kind of cool this season. 17 tackles, 1 interception, 2 passes defended. Just showing him on the side right there. T. Will in shotgun, 1 man to his right. 3 receivers to his left, 1 to his right. Ball is snapped, drops back and throw, looks over the middle, looks to his right. Throws it, and it is a dart that is incomplete. Not the best ball placement in the sense of who was there, but still could have been worse. 3rd and 5 for the Showboats here. 0-5 on 3rd down conversions tonight. That is so bad. Maybe they'll get one here. Going to be under 5 minutes when they snap this ball. Left in the third quarter. Again, T. Will is 4 of 8 right now for 13 yards. That is what you call a bad stat line. That's almost like no, not even that. That's just a bad stat line. 3rd and 5. They're lining up in 5 wide. Ball snap, drops back and throw, looks to his left. Still looking, evading some pressure, evades a couple of sacks, but then falls down and ends up getting sacked for about a 2.5-yard loss. Going to be 4th down there. Going to be forced to punt again. Not what you want to see if you're a Showboats fan right there. Again, I don't know why you put T. Will in back there. E.J. Perry just gave you legitimately back-to-back great drives. Yes, it ended in an interception. It wasn't Perry's fault. Yet, you punish him by putting in T. Will, who then immediately gives you a couple good runs, which isn't necessarily because of him, and then some incomplete passes and a sack. 4th and 8. Let's see what happens here. Ball is snapped. Punt is up. It's going to be returned at about the 25-yard line. Makes a couple of moves. And he gets tackled. Nice tackle by the Showboats coverage team right there to stop him at the 25-yard line. If he made that break, he might have gotten about another 6 yards. So really solid tackle there. Again, let's see what they can do here. Really solid play overall, all things considered. Let's see, up there. Prince keeps crushing. Okay. I say Anthony losing a tooth, bro. I love it every time he does one play. We get another one of those things every time. Walk-off winners, brother Mets. I don't care. I'm sorry. And let's go over here, see what's going on over this place. Fill the rig, please. Oh, that looks bad. That's going to be rough tomorrow for Houston. Actually, no, it's not as bad. It's still bad, but yeah. We want Dormade, dude. Stop. People in the Discord actually saying they want Dormade. Dude, no, you don't. Dormade is not going to save you. He's not saving this Showboats team. Like, he ain't saving it. Man, stretching is so difficult in this chair. Dude, I just barely tapped my cord. I was about to break my mic again. There we go. Progressive commercials, my God. We don't need all these commercials about Progressive, bro. It's just so many of the same ones. Stats. I'm pulling up the stats again real quick. I want to see this. As of now, Michigan still has a 5-minute advantage in time of possession. 5 TFLs to the Showboats 0. Memphis is 0 of 6 in third down. It's not like Michigan's doing good. They're 3 of 8, but man, rushing yards is 135 to 47. That's just bad. Like, that's really bad right there. You do not want to see that. AJ to the Showboats. Okay, now we're reaching. That's what we call reaching. More posts by the UFL. Relentless pressure showing the sack on T-Will. Go back over here then. That, I think, is asking for a bit much. Seeing another 1,000 increase, I doubt we see that. That would be insane, though, for sure. Let's see what Michigan can do here again. It feels like a touchdown here might make it over. Like over in terms of the game being over. It kind of has that feeling with how Memphis is playing. But if you only score 7 points, it becomes 21-9. A field goal makes it 21-12. That's a one-score game, technically. So Michigan scores a touchdown, they need to go for 2. Going for 1 is just not worth it. They hand the ball off on first down, run to the right. Solid defense by the Showboats. They might give them about half a yard in forward progress. Overall, very solid stop by the Memphis defense there on first down. Again, 3.5 minutes left in the third quarter right now. Perkins, 9 of 15 for 87 yards right now. Again, very solid. Not an insane stat line, but a very solid one. You know, around a 66 completion percentage. Around 10 yards of completion. That's basically as, like, solid as you can get without being great or terrible. 2nd and 9 for the Panthers. 3 minutes and 7 seconds left. Ball snap. Do a little pitch to Ross, who goes to the left. Gets to the 30. Gets another 3 yards after the 30, so it's going to be about 3rd and 3 here. Again, wouldn't be too shocked with a run play over here or some sort of read option play. Need to see some more of those in third down, but we'll see. Again, it does count as a pass for Perkins, so Perkins is at 10 of 16 for 93 yards now. Solid play design there. You know, got a solid 6 yards. Love to see that. Bro, they're still showing toe on the sideline. Perkins is in shotguns. 1 man to his right. 2 receivers to his left. 2 to his right. Ball is snapped. Looks to his right. Looks over the middle of the field. Looks to his left. Throws it a bit deep, and it is going to be incomplete. That is, again, one of those plays I'm not a fan of him doing. He's done that a lot this year. Instead of getting the first down, which is what matters, he'll try to make this big, deep play. The deep play is great, but he could have tried to do something there different to get a first down than throwing that very tightly windowed contested throw. Not a huge fan of that play right there. They're showing Toa. He got hit in the head 2 plays ago, so he might be dealing with some sort of concussion thing, but he's on the sideline, not in the tent. So yeah, 4th and 3 for the Panthers. They're punting the ball. Almost blocked. It is a deep punt, though, all the way back to the... It keeps bouncing, but it does bounce out of bounds. So they're going to get the ball at about the 25, I believe. Let's see. Is E.J. Perry coming in at quarterback? That's who should be coming in at quarterback, but we'll see. Again, 14-9. 1 minute, 46 seconds left in the third quarter. Again, I said it before, that we saw a lot of first half scoring on that one game a couple days ago, the DC St. Louis game. This game is looking a lot like that when we saw very little scoring in the second half of that game. Wow, I almost called that one perfectly. Official attendance is 9,600, dude. I almost called that exactly perfectly. I said over 9K. And on Friday, might both hurt. The number. And I believe it's still better than any game last season. Let me see. Last season's high was 9,444. Well, I'm shocked we got that this early. We usually don't get that number this early, honestly. Honestly, would expect a third straight home game, and on Friday night both hurt the number. But still better than any game last year. Yeah, literally what I basically expected was that. I expected about 9K. What was it last time? Last game, it was 11,013. But I kind of expected this. It's the third straight home game. That hurts. It's Friday night. That hurts. But that number is still better than any 2024 game. 2024, their highs was 94,444. Literally 9,444. So this is better than any game they had last season, despite it being their weakest one. I'm not shocked at this number at all. I said earlier in the stream that I think over 9K is a solid number. That's what it is. Yeah, it's like what Brandon says. It's the lowest number of the season, but it's really not bad, all things considered. Again, that's what I expected. I mean, I've been getting a bit better at overall predicting these numbers, all things considered. So, yeah. Dude, what are some of these people in the replies? I am shocked we got that this early. We never get attendance this early this season. It's always been the middle of the fourth quarter. But yeah, exactly what I expected. Not shocked whatsoever. How do I send stuff in here? There we go. Bro, I better not get turtled in Discord. Okay. E.J. Perry is in the game. I don't know why people are upset about that. That's the correct decision right there. E.J. Perry going the rest way. It should be. It should be. He's been the best one so far for this team for sure. Let's see. 1st and 10 for the Showboats. And it's going to be a few-yard loss on the play. Second and 13 for the Showboats here. Ball is snapped, looks to the right, looks over the middle of the field. It is thrown. It's going to be caught for about a 6-ish yard gain by the Showboats at the last play of the third quarter. Those stats are horrible. Yeah. You're only just now worried about the rhythm. True. This is a game right here, bro. This really is a wild game. I mean, sorry for joining late. Any discussion to why Sheridan isn't getting more carries? Honestly, it's just because so far he just hasn't been needed. McCreary and Tao have been doing a really solid job on the ground so far, so it's kind of like one of those things where it's like you don't even really need him to carry the ball because he's just not really doing anything. That's kind of the best way to put it, honestly. That's what I would say. But man, I'm just trying to look at everything right now. I honestly don't remember the announcers. I can't remember. I'm just literally trying to look at a lot, like 6 things at once right now. Man. What a game, bro. I'm trying to go back to the stats while we're in commercial break for the quarters. It's still bad. EJ Perry, again, interception wasn't on him, but even without that, he's still 5. Like, you don't count interception, count as an incompletion. He's still 5 of 10 for 45 yards. It's just, like, dude, it's what I said earlier this stream, like, about, 30 minutes ago. The quarterback decision to go with T. Will and EJ Perry, even Dormade when he was on your roster, was just so bad because there was just no point to it. Like, if you know these quarterbacks are just kind of okay and they're not going to win you anything, why bring them in? You're just making the whole rest of the offense worse. And so far in the season, we've seen that. Like, I'm pulling up the stats on the overall season, and I know what they relatively are. Right now, Perry and T. Will combined for 1 touchdown. This is not counting tonight's game. 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions, and EJ Perry has a slightly higher passer rating at 70.4. Like, it ain't good. It ain't good, bro. So, is what it is, but it ain't good for them. That's what I would say. You hate to see it, but it's true. But heading into the fourth quarter again, despite all of that, like every other game this season, Memphis is somehow still in this game legitimately. Partly because of Michigan mistakes, partially because their offense is doing enough. This game is still in, within one score is within one score. One lucky play can get you a touchdown. It can get you a lot. So we'll see if Michigan can score again, but they haven't been able to be as good this half. Again, the first half, they were just going. At the end, But when you go to halftime, you get to regroup, which the Showboats defense definitely has. But their offense needs to do something here. Let's see if they can pull it off. 12 players mic, 4-player cams, 2 ref cams, pylon cams, team tablet access. 0 points in the third quarter again. Pretty similar to the Battlehawks DC game. Great first half, second half, not as much scoring. Let's see if this fourth quarter, though, changes. 2nd and 13 for the Showboats. Ball is snapped. Delayed handoff, run to the right. Terrible play for them. They lose about 3 yards right there. You're getting like 1,000. Okay. This is going to be about 3rd and 16 for the Showboats. Awful play right there. Like, I get trying... Oh, 3rd and 20. My apologies. I get trying to do something different, but in that scenario, I'm just not a fan of that. Not a great play call there. Lost about 6 yards. 3rd and 20 for the Showboats. They literally need to have one of those Bryce Perkins pick sixes like last week to be in this game again. 5 wide. They're going for this first down. Perry drops back, looks to his left. He's going to throw a deep shot. And it's not even catchable. Thrown out of bounds. Terrible throw by Perry. Maybe Tebow should go back in. Like, dude, it's just so bad. You have 2 quarterbacks that are so unfathomably mid. And mid might even be too much. Like, it's just insane. This is insane. Insane. Punt is up. Going to be recovered at about the 35-yard line. Turner makes a couple man miss. He's running to the left. He's rolling back, and the special teams, even the guy like Turner, for how good he's been, makes a boneheaded move because he's on special teams. They just lost about like 10 yards compared to what he could have gotten because he wanted to try and make a big play. Dude, this is... Oh, that hurts. That hurts. Bad play right there. Bro slipped. Yeah, he just tried too much. Not worth it. Bad play right there for them. Not what we want to see. Not at all. Notifications. 9 comics. View quotes. 900 views. Okay. What a game. Was there a banana peel in the field? Bruh. That's... Okay, that's diabolical. Bruh. I did not want to open Google Play Games. It was a misclick, bro. Oh, it didn't open. Okay, good. Never mind, it opened. Okay. I have this on my PC. Dude, I didn't even know I had one of these games installed on my PC. Okay. Well, we take those, I guess. Man, I wonder what Michigan does in this drive. Again, Michigan this half just hasn't been as good as you kind of expected them to be. Blue Moon, bro. All these ads. The UFL, bro. This solid 3 hours, but they got a lot of ads in there. They know what they're doing, bro. They're getting their bag. Oh, Tony. The MVP, bro. Even in MLB, the MVP, it's just like, dude, the MVP, it felt like it used to mean something in sports. Now it's just like a narrative driven. Like, dude, if you win it in baseball, you're basically like a given to win it next year almost. Like, Ohtani gets MVP for just kind of existing. Like, I get it. It is insane what he does, pitching and hitting, but like, MVP, I don't know. It's wild. Hockey still is the best overall, but even then there's a couple of questionable calls. But then you also have Ted Lindsay, so you have kind of 2 MVPs really that are treated like that. So if you win both of them, you're the real MVP, you win one or the other. Like Taylor Hall, Connor McDavid, there's 1 year like Hall won the Hart, McDavid won the Ted Lindsay, so it was like not a real MVP season by Taylor Hall. 14-9, Michigan Panthers are leading with under 14 minutes left in the game. The gaming stream, okay. Hey. If I get stuff on my PC, I could do that on my other YouTube account. I could do that, but ball is snapped, handed off, runs up the middle, gets about 4 yards on the play right there. And we got 2nd and probably 7 on this one. 2nd and 6. 13 minutes. They should snap. This was like 13-10, a bit less. Again, try to eat out some clock, but not like all of it. Let's see. Looks like they're going to wait even longer. One receiver, or one guy to his left, he hands it off, runs to the left, and he gets stuffed for about a 2-yard loss. Maybe with forward progress only cost him 1 yard. Great defense by the Showboats right there. Again, that's what you need, is to get the ball back for Memphis. Memphis needs to put up some points in their next drive. Right there, solid play by Michigan. Oh, I believe. Oh, man, I could end up doing it. Let's see. Hold up. I just remembered what my final score was. That's the wrong page I just opened. I'm pretty sure if Memphis scores a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, they will be at 17 points, which is how many points I thought they were going to score this game. Perkins with a deep shot to the left. It is caught. Massive play. There is a flag. COC Mariner with the catch. Will be interesting to see who this is on. This is going to be pass interference on somebody, more than likely. Incredible pass by Perkins. Great catch by COC Mariner. Looks like it's going to be on the defense. Let's see. Defense pass interference. Decline penalty. Massive gain for the Panthers right there. Huge play for them. Look at that. Incredible catch. Oh. At the very end, he got that. That was a borderline catch in a lot of ways, but I think he did overall get that. And they run a play anyway, so it doesn't matter. And they throw it to the right. It's another deep pass. It is caught. He makes a move, and he may have gotten in the end zone. They're calling it a touchdown, Panthers. Insane. Jalen Moore with the massive play. They just quick snapped that one, make sure it didn't get reviewed, and got a touchdown off it. 20-9 is the score right now. Huge play for Michigan. Insane. Wow, that's wild that he got that. That was literally just doing a play to not let it get reviewed, and they score a touchdown on it. We get another touchdown. 4 touchdowns this game. Is wild. Going for one again, like they always do. Let's see if they get it here. Looks like they might be reviewing this, though. Or challenged by Memphis. They're challenging. Let's see. They're challenging for an ineligible receiver downfield. Let's see. Show the replay, Fox. Let's see. Ooh, let's see. This is close. Looks like this is going to stay. Unsuccessful challenge. Touchdown holds for Michigan. Sup, Steven? Beautiful play and nice move. Dude, that was incredible. And that was the fact that was on a play to just make the other one not get reviewed is insane. So Memphis did succeed their first super challenge, but they failed their second one. Of course, Michigan still has their super challenge left, which is big for them. Of course, Panthers are going for one here, like they always do. Let's see if they can get it. Just under 12 minutes left in the game. This has definitely been the best Friday Night Football game, but hopefully Memphis can make this a close game. Again, they've had a couple of good drives, but like usual, it's been a couple of good drives, which is what's hurt Memphis. They only get a couple off, they need a few. Let's see if the Panthers can get this here. Perkins is in shotgun, one man to his right. One receiver to the far right, and then a couple others to the left. Motioning one of them to the right, ball snapped. They hand it off in the middle, and it is good. 21-9, Michigan over Memphis. I will say this, with 12 minutes left, we are on perfect game watch. If Michigan kicks a field goal, Memphis scores a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, that would be my final score prediction, was 24-17 Michigan over Memphis. I mean, we've gotten kind of close a couple of times, but we're on legit watch here, because that is possible that could happen. If Memphis scores a touchdown here, Michigan gets a field goal, we could see that. Yeah, I mean, I hate that they only go for one, but if they're going to complete it, 7-9, if they get the next one, that's an 80 completion percentage on it, or conversion rate, and that's more than enough. If you're above 70, it's pretty much worth it. So, huge for Michigan, they can just be that successful with it. And again, when your quarterback is now running the ball, dude, a 2-yard line, it makes it so hard to stop it. Huge play on Michigan. Memphis, they need an answer here. They need to score a touchdown. They need to actually get some massive points on the board here. Make this back to a one-score game. I know a field goal technically makes it a one-score game, but they need a touchdown. Kickoff is up. Gets to about the 20, the 25, 30, 35. Gets tackled at the 35-yard line. Solid-ish return for them. They'll take that. Your Memphis, you take that starting the ball or starting the drive at the 35-yard line. You will gladly take that one. Interviewing Bryce Perkins on the sideline right now. Just keep showing this tablet stuff. Of course, it's a cool thing about the UFL, being able to actually see the tablet, which you normally don't see. Dude, Sprite just... Oh my god, this thing just explodes every time I try to open it. First and 10, they hand the ball off, or they fake it, and E.J. Perry's running to the right. He throws it a bit deep, and it is going to be caught. Really solid play for the Showboats right there by E.J. Perry. Great passing, great, even better reception right there. They need to do some more of that to try and get a touchdown here. Perkins, 12 of 19 for 158 and a touchdown. That's a really solid stat line. 7 rushes for 45 yards. Really good stat line for him tonight. Might win Offensive Player of the Week again. Showboats in shotgun. Delayed handoff, but it ends up being a fake one, and Perry runs directly up the middle for about a 5-yard gain. Really solid play right there. Jose, there is just under 11 minutes left in the game. Just hit the 11-minute mark, so we're about 10 minutes, 50 seconds left right now. 2nd and 6 for Memphis in Michigan territory. EJ drops back to throw. He runs up. He evades the sack. He just throws it away. That is the correct decision to throw it away. 3rd and 6 Memphis. This is close to 4-down territory, though. Finally, just get rid of it. Perkins playing good tonight. Yeah, Adrian, he's been definitely really solid tonight. I mean, again, him running the ball last week and doing it more this week has just helped him out so much in the air. Again, he had those 2 huge passing plays on that last drive. Memphis is 0 of 7 on 3rd down percentage right now. That's insane. 6 points for a touchdown, and then there's 3 extra point options. A 1 point from the 2, a 2-point play from the 5, and a 3-point from the 10. It's just that normally teams score a touchdown and go for 2, but the Panthers always go for 1, so they're a bit different on the score. But yeah, it's 6 points for a touchdown, and there's no kicking after the touchdown. It's just a legit play. Perkins pick 6 would feed G-Man families. Okay. Medical timeout right now. I never got into the UFL. Yeah, the touchdowns ends up being... I mean, this is how it was for a bit. Touchdown, 6 points. You score a touchdown, you get to do a regular play from the 2-yard line, the 5-yard, the 10-yard line to score 1, 2, or 3. Mostly the 2 is the best. Like, the 2-point conversion is the best one. But Michigan, because of how their team is formatted or just made, is really good at the 1-point conversions to make it actually worth it to go for one because they're just so successful. They're at like 7 of 9 success rate this season, which is just insane. Last year was like a 50 completion percentage. They run to the right. It is going to be stopped about a yard shy of the first down. I would go for this. Yes, you could kick this. Try to go for the 4th and 12. It's a one-score game, blah, blah, blah. You need a touchdown here. I would go for it. Looks like they are going to go for it. I think that's the correct call here. 0-8 on third down is insane. Like, Memphis, if they do end up losing this game, that's going to be the talking point. 0-8 on third down. Calling a timeout. Weird timeout call by Memphis right there. That's their second timeout. I'm really against that one for sure. I do believe I did the Brahmas last week. Yeah, last week I did a Brahmas game. I might do one next week depending on how that game and this one goes. I am doing tomorrow's Battlehawks Renegades. But yeah, the only Brahmas game I've done so far was the Brahmas Panthers game last weekend, which I did. But I might do them against the Roughnecks next week if it ends up being a tank bowl, depending on if, Houston... Like, if Houston and San Antonio wins, it ain't a tank bowl. But if, one of them or both of them loses, then that pretty much is a tank bowl. Well, if Houston wins, they're technically, not tanking because they're 2-2 somehow. But if Houston loses, that's going to be a tank bowl, so I will be streaming that game. But if Houston wins and they pull off the upset, then might still do it. Again, they would have to be voted for it. Yeah, I think all the games this weekend are going to be good because I don't think any of these games that are viewed as upsets or huge favorites are going to be. I actually think San Antonio pulls off the upset against DC. I think that San Antonio is primed for that win, and I think DC's primed for that loss. RJ Young thinks it's Jordan Talon, but really Perkins and Saylor to the 2-1. They do the run, and it looks like they're going to get stuffed just shy. But they're going to have to review this. He might have gotten it clear. Let's see. He might have gotten it. They're going to have to review this one. Initial spot is short. Again, why call a timeout if you're still going to go for it? Waste of a timeout by Jim Turner. But really the favorite right now would still probably be Jacob Saylors or Bryce Perkins just because, there's been no other offensive player who's really been that dominant. It's not like there's a defensive player that's been insane. Don't have my hopes up. Yeah, I know, but it's just, I don't know. I think DC, with the loss of Ty Scott, it's just too much for them. That offense is so pitiful. And losing Ty Scott makes it even worse. It's already a poor offense. Now it's even worse. If San Antonio even plays just a tiny bit better than they did last time, it's over. The interviewing Perkins on the sideline. Just looking at some of the things right here. Perkins might be an MVP candidate. Yeah, no, really? I'm not shocked, Anthony Miller. Okay. What a game. It's been fun. Catch you later, Zomb. G-Man, I hope the Showboats can pull off something, but it ain't looking too great so far. I mean, who knows? You never know. But again, thank you for being here. Hope I'll see you tomorrow in that stream, but have a good night, G-Man. Stallion's definitely not as good as the record shows. That is definitely true for sure. It just... people really think they're insane, and I just can't buy that. I just can't. Yeah, ping level today, bro. That's a diabolical thing right there I just saw. The announcers crash out on CJ Johnson. Like they've done on everyone else, it would be peak cinema, bro. If the Showboats lose this game, basically no. 0-4 in the UFL is a death sentence unless the rest of your conference is just utter dog water. If they lose this game, they're done. Because if you start the season 0-4, the best record we've seen a team make the playoffs is 4-6. meaning you'd have to go 4-2 the last 6 weeks, and you'd still have to win tiebreakers and hope teams lose. Because, I mean, if you lose this game, Michigan's obviously 3-1, so you're already super far behind them. If Michigan or if Birmingham wins, they're also 4-1 or 3-1, so you're already super behind them. It's just, you lose this game if you're Memphis, same goes for San Antonio in their game. They lose, they're basically out. Not officially, but pretty much. Like, they could, if you go 6-0 to end the season, you probably make it, but hey, nobody think they're going to happen. San Antonio could do something solid, though. We'll see. First step for the Michigan Panthers. Ball is snapped. They hand it off. Fake the handoff. It's thrown quick. It's going to be a first down at about the 50-yard lines when he gets taken down just at midfield. Solid play for them. They'll be 0-3 in the division. That's a good point. That is a good point. They'll be 0-3 in the division, which is just horrid. Yeah, the Brahmas, they need to win that game tomorrow, or that game. If they lose it, it's just, especially in that conference, the worst team would be 2-2. So you'd already be 2 games, just purely on wins, you'd be 2 games behind already, which is just tough, and San Antonio needs to win tomorrow, for sure. Ball snap, they run it to the left, and he gets tackled for about a 5-yard gain right there by Michigan. That's a hard disagree. The Showboats last year were horrid. They won 2 games because Houston was somehow worse in the games they played. But you go back and look at those stats, Memphis was dead last in every stat. They were the worst team. It's just they could beat Houston. So that's why they were higher in power rankings. But they were the worst overall team last season. Like, this Showboats team is much better. Like, this Showboats team would beat last year's Showboats team by like 20. 2nd and 5, ball is snapped, they hand it off, and it's going to be a first down run, and then another almost 10 yards, huge play for them. If the Brahmas can pull it off, you make it to where there's no 4-0 team in the conference, so, best teams are 3-1. So you're 2 games behind an overall win, but more importantly, you end up beating a team in your conference, so now you have a winning record over DC, so come tiebreaker time, you win that one, it's another game. So if you go 2-0 against a team, you only need to get 1. So if you end up going 2-0 against DC the whole year, DC loses 1 extra, beat them in tiebreaker. They win tomorrow, they still have a shot. They lose tomorrow, it's over. It's fully over. 1st and 10, handoff in the middle, and it is going to be about a 3-yard gain for Michigan. They are in field goal range right now, though, of course, with BT Potter, you never know. The 2022 Maulers are the ones that stick out immediately for the worst spring football team. I know, the Guardians were pretty bad in 2023 of the XFL, but that Maulers team was rough to watch. That was bad. I always have a good feeling about Showboats win season starts to... Yeah, I feel like that happened again. I was they're better than last year, but man, this is just not great. 2nd and 6, got to get the snap off. They do get it off. They hand it off, or fake the handoff. They throw it to the right. It's going to be a first down for the Panthers, and then it gets out of bounds at about the 14-ish yard line. The RPO offense, it's great. Letting Perkins run has opened up so much of this offense, and this is what the offense needs to be. The 2022 Maulers got 1 win against a team in the Gamblers, who in that season, the 2022 Gamblers would hold a lead at halftime and then somehow blow it no matter what. Every time. That's the only game they won. They then benched that quarterback that won them the game less than 2 weeks later. That's the best way to describe the 2022 Maulers. They had a quarterback win them a game against a team that choked and then benched the quarterback anyway. The handoff in the middle is going to be stopped almost immediately for about a 1-yard gain. Yeah, the Maulers made Paxton Lynch look like a franchise quarterback. No, that's the best way to describe it. Paxton Lynch legitimately looked better than Perez arguably has ever looked in his game against the Maulers. That's how bad the Maulers were that season. They let Paxton Lynch look like prime Luis Perez, prime Magoo, prime Adrian Martinez. That's the kind of Paxton Lynch we saw against the Maulers. And it was only that one game. Lynch was never that good the rest of the season. But week 10, man, what a legend. They fake the handoff. Perkins throws to the right. It is caught. They just did the same damn play like 3 straight times, and they score a touchdown. So there goes my potential 24-point pick, but touchdown for the Panthers. They are now at 27-9. We will potentially see a 40-point game. We see any more points scored that's not extra point. We will see a 40-point game as long as Michigan gets the 1 point here. That's hilarious. Dude, Paxton Lynch, Week 10, 2022, legendary quarterback performance, bro. That one game, incredible game. Let me pull this up. What a play by the Panthers. They just did like the same play 3 straight times. That's hilarious. Yeah, in that game, Paxton Lynch... Hold on, let me make sure it's working. They go for the 1 point again, and it is going to be incomplete, out of bounds. Still 70 completion percentage, really saw on that. Paxton Lynch in that game went 22 of 30 for 275 yards, 3 TDs to 1 interception for a 120.8 passer rating. Paxton Lynch, 70-plus percentage, over 10 yards of completion, 3 TDs, 1 interception. If that doesn't show how bad that Mahler's team is, I don't know what does. Showboats players in disbelief. That's not good for Nakua right there. Looks like he might be hurt after that play. Paxton Lynch brings memories, dude. Screw. When is the Battlehawks Panthers, and can both offenses wake up for that? You would hope so. That game is actually next week, week 5. Which, again, wouldn't be streamed if we have a tank bowl because of how the things are. So we might not see that one. All depends on that. But yeah. The Showboats. Bruh. Don't say that. Crazy Norse. I know. It's insane that he pulled that off. That was like the one game he played well. Every other game was just bad. But that one game, Week 10, 2022, Paxton Lynch. Beautiful. And then, yeah, the Week 3 game, I mean, dude, the Panthers team that year was 2-8. They were 2-8 with their 2 wins over the Maulers. That Maulers team was horrid. Bro, Daryl Johnston is at the game. Not Dwayne Johnson, but Daryl Johnston. Let's see. Moose. I have his AAF autograph card. I got that one. Executive VP of Football Operations. I forgot I gotta put that in my box. I've got like a box of AF cards. I don't actually have that one with it. I gotta move that one. That's a tank bowl no matter what, unless both teams win. If Houston wins, that's the only one that I view. If Houston wins, they're 2-2. Can't really put them in a tank bowl because then they're actually in the playoff race somehow. They run up the middle for about 4-yard gain right there. Somebody who actually cares was at the game. Dude, Dwayne Johnson slander is accepted in this chat. The Rock, bro. Dude, that is so true. I literally said that too. They just spammed the RPO like 3 times and it had to work every single time. I got a touchdown off it. Showboats end up gaining about 4 yards on that play when they stop it for forward progress. Solid play for them. Again, they're basically in 4-down territory no matter what. With 4.5 minutes left, they have to keep going for it. Again, right now they need to get this play going quickly. They need to go a bit faster right now. Yes, I know the clock stops, but you're down a lot of points right now. You can't expect to get 18 points off 2 touchdowns. You just can't. You have to view this as a 3-score deficit. Because 2 3-point conversions is insane. My score prediction is getting close. Mine ain't. It was. Now it ain't with that touchdown. They kicked the field goal, it would be, but not there. Roughnecks versus San Antonio is going to be peak. True. EJ Perry rolls. He throws it in the middle. It looks like it's going to be caught for a first down in about 14-ish yard game. As long as Houston doesn't win. Because if Houston wins, they're actually in the playoff race, unironically, and I can't call it a tank bowl. So we need Birmingham to win that game tomorrow. For no other reason than to guarantee we get a tank bowl next week. Because, hey, if they're both 1-3, it's still a tank bowl, but it's a tank bowl that one of them could actually come out of. I said 17-27. You would be close. There's no way it's 17-27 because they're going to go for 3, but you're going to be like within like 2 points for sure. Run up the middle for about a yard. Because if they score a touchdown, they're going for 3. So you're going to be either off by 1 point if he gets to 3 or 2 points if he goes for, misses it. Roughnecks to the playoffs. Okay, the hopium is a bit much. Let's go Tank Bowl. Hey, if the Brahmas win this week, it's still a Tank Bowl. Then they beat the Roughnecks in the Tank Bowl. They're somehow in the playoff race. We've seen that before in the NFL where a Tank Bowl team ends up being in the playoffs. Almost intercepted. The Panthers saw that, almost jumped the route, but didn't get it. 3rd and 9 right now for the Memphis Showboats with under 3 minutes to go. Again, they need to go faster. I don't know why they're doing so slow. You only have 2 minutes and 45 seconds left. Again, remember, you wasted your second timeout. You're down to 1 timeout right now. You do something. Oh, that's right, Memphis, Houston. I forgot about that. 3rd and 9. Or is it Memphis, San Antonio? I don't remember. Ball snap. They almost got a delay of game penalty. I don't know what they're doing. They run it with E.J. Perry. Actually, a decent play design, but they only get about 6 yards. Gonna have to go for it in 4th and 3. I'm not against that play, but it's like, could have been a better play design. 4th and 3 now for the Showboats. Got to get this here. 1 of 10 on 3rd downs. That's the story of this game, along with the ground attack by Michigan. Roughnecks versus Brahmas is going to be the best game of the season. Insane. Insane. Okay. Make sure to emphasize CBA ain't done, bruh. This is something else for sure. I forgot about that. It is Easter weekend too, so that definitely hurts that as well. Roughnecks versus Brahmas is going to be the best game this season. It might be. The Renegades Roughnecks was a fun one last year. Perkins MVP campaign starts. Yeah, after tonight, he's probably the favorite to win MVP for sure. T-Will was 4, made that stat line. Dude, ice cold for sure. That's insane. That is insane. Let me pull up those stats. That is beautiful. 4 of 8 for 13 yards. This is a 56.3 passer rating. Which, thanks to the receiver fumbling that catch, it's still better than E.J. Perry's passer rating because of, the interception that goes against his record. But Bryce Perkins, 15 to 22, 200 yards, 2 TDs, 0 picks. That's a 68.2 passer rate or completion percentage with a 127 rating, really solid. 7 carries for 45 yards. Toa is 53 yards and 10 carries, and McCree is 60 yards on 11 carries. Again, really insane. Just a great game so far by him. Yes, good old Tank Bowl 1, the first stream we did. Roughnecks Renegades, the best offense in the league. Boats go belly up on 3rd downs, and Spring Kitties go sprint. I forgot about that. We had the second Showboats Roughnecks game. I did completely forget about that, in all honesty. Let me go all the way down here. Oh, no, we had the... Yeah, Renegade Showboats. That's right. I forgot about that. I forgot it was Renegade Showboats. We had the Renegades twice, and we had all 3 teams twice, which is just world class. Oh, they're showing the championship odds again. Let me see how down awful these are, because these have always been bad because people betting don't know the UFL. Okay, it's still relatively respectable. It's not like as bad as it used to be. 1-0. Seeing Houston at 1-0 in the conference is so hard to look at because it's like, dude, how? But they only beat, they beat the Showboats. Memories. Almost same pass attempts as passing yards. E.J. Perry throws to the left. He needs to break one man. He breaks the man, and he may have gotten tackled just shy. That may have been an incredible play. They're going to have to see. They're calling it a first down on the field, though. If he got that first down, that's incredible effort. If he got stopped, that's incredible effort by the defense. I really do. They got to review this one. Obviously, it's under 2 minutes. That was incredible. He was able to break DJ Miller. Incredible play by him. Let's see. I don't think he got there, honestly. But we'll see. That's a great play by Tarpley in 45. They're able to stop him there. This is a good view. Ooh, he may have gotten that. He may have gotten it. That angle they're showing right now, when they stopped it, that's not the farthest he was. He may have gotten that. That honestly might be a too close to overturn kind of call. The overhead angles don't do it justice for how legitimately close it was to a first down. But it looks like they are going to call it short. They are going to call it overturn it and call it short. So the Showboats do not get it, which essentially ends the game, meaning Michigan is going to essentially win 27-9. Bet the house in the Roughnecks to win the championship, bruh. Again, one timeout left with Memphis. Game is essentially over. Michigan wins. That was a huge hit. That was incredible defense by the Panthers. They're being able to stop that one. That was a huge play right there by him. Insane. Wow, huge win for the Panthers right here, getting them to 3-1. Again, this game I thought was going to be 24-17. I was somewhat close about Michigan's score. I said this was going to be a higher scoring game, and I mean, let me make sure my math ain't wrong. I mean, I just did minus, bruh. I mean, this was a 36-point game. Again, Vegas knows. Vegas had 35.5 over-under when I did my video. I was technically correct. It was over somehow. So we did technically have a somewhat high-scoring game, which I'll take that. So, yeah. I mean, fun one. Jordan to be continued. I don't spell his name, but there's no way that's a terrific start. TBC, you mean Teamu? Message retracted. Okay. Again, big start for Michigan, 3-1. It was looking a bit rough for them the first 2 weeks of the season, but back-to-back wins again against lower level teams, but still was itching the two. Okay, glad he's having success. Yeah, I just remember people saying like they fully expected him to like bail on the league really early, and I was like, dude, I just don't see that happening. And I mean, he's been one of the more vocal guys, and the fact is, when you look at guys who you think are going to come back next season, I think the odds of him coming back next season are higher than really like any other coach in the league, if I'm being honest. I just think he likes doing this. Bro was talking about 34-point games, and we got a lot of them now. Easy dubs for Michigan. Again, huge win for Michigan. Beating up on the bad teams is what you need to do, and that's what they pretty much did here. Yeah, it's not fully over, but it's over. Ball snap, they hand it off on third down. May have just gotten stopped a bit short. Memphis is not even going to call timeout, I don't think. I think they've accepted it. Yeah, it looks like it's over. Yeah, Showboats, you guys are screwed. I'm sorry. Like, G-Man, I know he's gone, but the Showboats, this season is basically over. 2-3 start to the week. Memphis's season is essentially over at this point. Two and three start. Yep, I got two of those right, so I'll take it. Good start for the week on my game picks. I got the team right, and I technically got that one right. So, huge win for the Panthers. Man, it's just... Again, I don't get it. I'll talk about it probably in one of my videos, either the Power Rankings, the other one, but, like, this is not going to be as long as the rant as last time. I said heading into the season, the decision to stick with quarterback room, that was the definition of mid, was so poor. People can complain about a guy like Spencer Sanders and say you don't know how good he is. Or Anthony Brown. He was terrible. But you didn't know what you had in Anthony Brown. You knew what you had with Dormade, who again got cut, T. Will, and E.J. Perry. And you knew that wasn't going to win you a championship. So the decision to keep that as your quarterback room, like, you know, sometimes you hate it when you get proven right, and this is one of those cases, because I wanted Memphis to do good. I really like a lot of players on this team. I did last year, and even though they overhauled their roster, I still like a lot of players on their roster. But the decision to go with this quarterback room is so bad, because, like, dude, people can keep saying the issue is that they're swapping them in and out. That's not the issue. The issue is it doesn't matter which one you play, it's not going to be good. Even last year with Cookus and T. Will, which a lot of that was the offensive line was more so than the actual quarterbacks, but this season is more so the quarterbacks than the O-line. So, Memphis, GG. I'm not going to do my eliminated video until you're officially eliminated, but Memphis, you are basically eliminated from the playoffs already. Awful start to the season. If San Antonio does lose, I think they're going to pull off the upset, but if they lose and they keep losing, Memphis, San Antonio is going to be the game of the ages. And that is what week... Let's see. Memphis, San Antonio. That would be week... Dude, if they're 0-7 heading into week 8, that's going to be the greatest game I've ever streamed ever. You can't... I have no idea why I have a soft spot for Quentin. He had a couple of good moments for you guys last year. You can't be doing a 2 QB system, latest lane system, unless you have one that's run heavy, one that's pass heavy. Yeah, like the 2022 Generals. But the biggest issue with this one isn't even the 2 QB system. Like, that's an issue, but it's... Like, envision you start E.J. Perry and play him this whole game. You ain't winning. Imagine you put in T. Will and start him this whole game. You ain't winning. So it's like you're putting... Again, it's like I said earlier in the stream, in case for those of you who weren't there. T. Will and E.J. Perry is like you get a C on an exam in like high school or college, and you would rather have a 76 than a 74 as your final grade, but they're both still C's. That's this quarterback room. Like T. Will or E.J. Perry, it ain't that much of a difference, right? They gave us a fun game in 2023 between each other and the Maulers and Panthers, but this league, it ain't it. But overall, man, this was a fun one. Again, the Panthers, we actually saw a somewhat high-scoring game. You know, as Aaron Dolan would say, we hit the over. So we actually saw a somewhat high-scoring game, even though a lot of it ended up being just Michigan. Again, Memphis, man, I'm sorry. I said I was going to only do it if the Brahmas win, dude. Even if the Brahmas lose, I'm probably dropping them to 8 because this was bad. Because, again, 6 of their points was because of a bad snap by the Panthers. So Memphis really only scored 3 points in this game, if we're being completely honest. So really rough for them. Michigan, they did what they needed to do, beat the bad team. But again, they've only won against winless teams, right? They beat San Antonio, and they beat Memphis twice. So their 3-1 record, heavily inflated. But we'll see next week. They play the Battlehawks. That should be a fun one. Mid and midder. That's a great way to describe the two quarterbacks for sure. So, Michigan, we still don't know exactly how good they really are. They haven't played a great team yet. The best team they played was Birmingham, which, again, we don't even know how good they really are against Birmingham because that was when they were still doing the 2 QB system. And the special teams basically tried to shoot themselves in the foot 8 times. So, we'll see. But again, thank you all for being here. Subscribe if you haven't and you enjoyed this. Again, we're streaming tomorrow's game between the Renegades and the Battlehawks. I believe that game is at 12:30, so that means I will be streaming about 15 minutes before it starts. Let me confirm that. Week 4. Yep, 12:30, so at 12:15, I will be going live for that game. Again, if you want to become a community member for as low as 99 cents, you get a bunch of benefits and all that, like team emojis, like G-Man and Mo we're using, as well as other stuff. And as always, guys, have a great night.